Hey everyone, it's James. Just a quick disclaimer before the episode starts. This is probably our most X-rated episode of the podcast thus far. Things do get pretty adult pretty quickly in this one. Still a really fun show, definitely worth your time. But if you're not into all that naughty language, just letting you know quickly. With that out of the way, I can let you know that this episode is not brought to you by blood, babes, or boobs. But it should be because it's full of them. Enjoy. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighborhood film snob. And this week, guys, we've got a huge show. It's a solo show. I've got some guests, which is fantastic. One of my guests is an existing guest. You've heard him a couple of times. You'll notice his dulcet tones very shortly. And a first-time guest as well. Both of them are TSD alumni. They're both from Tell 'em Steve Dave. The first one is the host of the Reviewing History podcast. He's a history buff, a movie buff, and a general just really fun, lovely guy. It's Brian Ruppert. Welcome back to the show, Brian.
Hey, how you doing, everybody?
And the second guest is my first time meeting him today, and so rudely, I've barely said a word to him, to be honest. I've been talking to Rupp too much, so we'll remedy that very soon. He made his debut on Tell 'em Steve Dave as the guy who bought Brian Quinn's hair. He is known for his many tattoos, his love of pop culture and horror and film and wrestling and being a juggalo and all sorts of other stuff that I'm forgetting because there's so many things. Please welcome Jimmy the Hair Guy. Welcome, Jimmy.
What's going on?
You left out something important.
I left out something important?
You left out something.
Tell me.
Yeah, his short height of 5 feet.
I knew you were going to make fun of his height as soon as we started. I'm also short, Jimmy. I'm 5'3", so I don't have that much.
So am I. Don't listen to this asshole. I'm 5'3" as well.
James, I have a question.
Yes.
What made you pick James and stick with James and not become Jimmy or Jimbo?
It wasn't a choice. Just no one ever really gave me a nickname. The only time I've been called Jimmy was at my most recent job when I first started. There were two Jameses, and they were like, "Can you be Jimmy?" And I was like, "Well, I want this job, so if that's a prerequisite, then yes." But as soon as I got a management gig, I was like, "Hey, can we change it?" And and they were like, "Why? Like, do you got a problem?" I was talking to my boss. My boss's name is John, and I was like, "Does anyone call you Johnny?" And he goes, "Fair point." And that was the end of that conversation. So, but I'm not against it, Jimmy. I think the name works. It was just never given to me. So I've only gone with James. Yeah.
I was always James, and I fucking it felt so formal to me.
Yeah.
So no one started calling me Jimmy until I was probably in my fucking 20s, maybe my late teens, and by then I was like, thank God, like enough of this James shit. Holy Christ, I hated it.
I don't know what it's like for you guys, but like when I'm in conversation with people who I'm close to, we don't even use each other's names. It's just like, hey man. Like even my wife, I'm like, hey man. Like we don't really address each other by name anyway. So I'm not a particularly big fan of my name. I think I've said this on the podcast before. Like I love my parents, but I think they just opened up the oldest book in the history and like, James, cool, done. Like I think that's how they found my name. So yeah.
I'm the third in a row. My father was James and my grandfather was James. So
wow.
That's how I got mine. And I never liked it. In fact, some of my oldest friends, when they want to fuck with me, they still call me James.
Yeah,
Get him calls me James to fuck with me.
Who does?
Get him. So yeah.
I've met Get him once. The first time I spoke to Rupp, actually, I met Get him. That guy does not check his messages. As soon as I'd met him, I was like, well, I'm getting him on the show. Guy ghosted me, so it's all good. So
it's not personal. He definitely does not check his messages. He doesn't open his mail. He has to do a lot of things.
I'm not going to throw shade at a guy I've never spoken to for more than like 5 minutes, but I've listened to Tell 'em Steve Dave. I know what he does.
You know what you're dealing with. Sure.
Yeah, I love the name James, by the way. I'm sad to see you guys shit on it. If I had multiple sons, one of their names would probably end up being James.
Look, I'm not shitting on it. It's just, for me, it was always so fucking formal. Like, my dad was always Jim. No one ever called him James. I don't know what the fuck they called my grandfather. And I don't know, like, my parents didn't even call me James. It was like a school thing. And I don't know, I just fucking hated it. Like, I could never find a name that I was like comfortable with. So when I finally started getting called Jimmy, like way late in life, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude! Like
Yeah.
let's roll with this."
I don't hate it. I just don't think it's particularly exciting or interesting. I think it's like a very generic name. Like it's very non-offensive. Like as far as like the way naming children goes these days, everyone's trying to be edgy and different. I'll take James. Do you know what I mean? At least my parents gave me a sensible name.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's particularly unique. It's like if you speak to a group of 50 men, there's probably 5 or 6 Jameses in there. So um,
You
and we
wear it
don't want
well,
to be
brother.
common, Rupp. We want to be interesting and unique. That's why we do podcasts like every other person online, so we can be unique and different. So everyone knows how I've met you, Rupp, because you've been on the show a few times before. I just want to tell a quick story because Jimmy came to me in like a very strange set of circumstances. It was a real time of need. I remember talking to him. He's like, "I'm just a dude. Why are you making a big deal out of this?" But it was very nice. We were talking before we started recording about how I had my first ever negative review when it came through the Tell 'em Steve Dave Reddit board, which of course it did. Although according to you, Rupp, it might not have been about me now. So all that anxiety wasted. But it was a really like low moment for me because I was having a bad day as it was anyway. But what happened right after I read that negative comment, that negative review, the trailer for the Tell 'em Steve Dave Christmas pod came up, which was edited and shot by you. Cracked me up so funny. But one of my favorite moments, maybe my favorite moment in the entire trailer, was a shot of Gedham and Jimmy, and you deliberately shot it so Jimmy's barely in the frame. So funny, and I didn't know that
That
Jimmy
was
was.
natural. That was all natural. That's their
Not
actual
natural.
height
It's
difference.
not natural.
It
Don't
was
listen to him.
You two, look, I know he told me some behind the scenes stuff. I know Rupp's messing.
Look at him.
Um,
He's dying. He's
and,
fucking killing over dying. Look at this fucking guy. He's so
but,
proud of himself.
but it was so funny, and
Every time I think of that image, I die laughing. I think it's one of the best things I've ever done.
mm, it was so funny. It was like, look, as far as like mise en scene, as far as scene composition, chef's kiss, beautiful, very funny. And so I shouted it out, like I posted up on my Instagram, and within a couple of minutes, Jimmy messaged me. Never spoken to the guy before, we've never met, and he was like, "I know who you are. You just had Rupp on your show. When am I coming on?" And like in a moment of like my like of true darkness and sadness, this stranger from like the other side of the world, like it's just a big deal. So I'm just saying it was very lovely, and that's why I'll stick up for Jimmy when he gets attacked because he was so nice to me, even though we never
I
met.
don't even remember that. I don't remember that, but I don't doubt it. It sounds something I would do.
It was very nice. It was yeah, and you had no idea. You were like, "Man, it's so weird that this guy from Australia is being so kind to me." I was like, "No, you just got me out of a dark place. You don't know." So that was my first interaction with Jimmy. And we've been trying to get you on the show for a while, but then you were saying that you wanted to wait until Rupp was available because obviously you guys are working on a project, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's your first time on the show, Jimmy. So welcome.
Thank
And
you. Happy to be here.
tell me a little bit about your history with film. We always like to talk about it. So where does it begin for you? Have you been a lifelong film fan? I know you're into a bunch of stuff, a lot of fringe stuff as well, stuff that not everyone's necessarily into. So where does that begin, and when does it start to get weird? When does it get dark and into horror?
Very early. I was always into film. At some point, I decided I wanted to make film, but I was always into it. And as far as the love of horror, that's probably here's what I remember. I remember being like 2 and being obsessed with fucking Peter Pan, the Disney Peter
Yep.
Pan. And then I remember being like 6 and seeing Leprechaun on TV and then becoming like obsessed with I think I talked about this on Slasher School, but like we used to have like Saturday afternoon like horror movies on some fucking random channel. And I remember I saw like Leprechaun and like New Nightmare and Stephen King Sleepwalkers and like just the randomest shit and I fucking loved all of it. Like it all fucking Pumpkinhead, like really random shit. And it made me so fucking happy. Ticks, like just such a fucking random shit. And I was all about it. Like it was like Ren and Stimpy and horror. Like I was like 6, somewhere between 6 and 8. And my 2 favorite things in life are Ren and Stimpy and horror movies. Like I was all about it. And like my parents didn't really want me to watch it, which made it that much more exciting. Um, and then it just grew from there. Like I started discovering more and more. And then, I was Freddy Krueger for Halloween when I was like 10. And like I was all in on it very fucking early. You know what I mean? And then as far as film, like um it's funny. I've been like, I've really, I'm 36 now, and my mind has changed so many times on how I view film. Like, there was a period where I was such a snob that like I was all about like Criterion and indie pictures, and I put my nose up to like mainstream Hollywood movies, and then now like I watch some of the fucking like dumbest shit, like some of the worst trash. I still love the Criterion Collection and indies, don't get me wrong, but I'm way more open to just about everything. Like there's very few films I like completely like, you know, put my nose up to now, you know. But I don't know, it really all did start with horror though. You know, when I was in high school, I don't even know if you know this, Rob. When I was in high school, I went to a fucking Catholic high school, like
Mm.
shirt and tie every day shit, and I had to fucking take a religion class. And my freshman year, my religion teacher was also a college film teacher. And him and I bonded like really quickly because like he would reference like fucking like Kubrick movies and I would know what he was talking about when nobody else
Nice.
did. And so him and I like kind of bonded really quickly over that shit. And he ended up having all his classes um, make short films out of Bible stories, but you had to do it like in a contemporary context. And so I took uh, I took the crucifixion story and made it into a mob movie. Do you know this, Rob? Have I told you this?
I never heard this. This is amazing.
It exists on tape somewhere, but I haven't seen it since freshman year of high school. But I wrote and directed this fucking mob picture, and basically Jesus was like a fucking a fed on the inside, you know. And when gets killed at the end, you know, it's basically the crucifixion. And I used all these like stupid little techniques, and like I had a fucking Rolling Stones song fucking play through the credits and shit. And I ended up getting like, not only was it like the highest graded video of all his classes, but he showed it to like his college students. I wrote
That's
so
cool.
high on that. Like I was so fucking like, that's when I told myself like I can fucking do this. And then I never did it again. But I don't know. I've always been super into that shit though. You know what I mean? Like I love that shit. I don't know. I've
It's
always been a freak like that.
it's really cool, like hearing the story about your changing relationship with film, because I've noticed like, that's a very similar story to me. And I find the most fun interviews and the people I relate to most are people who've gone through that process. Like the guys at Movie Bonus had something similar. I think you might remember that, Rupp, as well, where we were also into film. It was just like film, 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 and mainstream stuff. We turned our nose up to it. And then at some point, something changes in us, and we're like, why are we doing this to ourselves? We're meant to love this stuff. Like, why do we only like a certain portion? For me, it was during the pandemic. I was only enjoying about 25% of everything I was watching. I was like, if I'm hating this much, maybe it's my fault. Like, maybe I need to just relax a little bit. And now I'm the same as you, Jimmy. I'll watch anything. Like, I'll watch anything. And you too, Rob, because I know your goal is still to watch every film ever made. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'll literally watch anything, and even stuff that is not critically acclaimed, or I can see why people don't like. I always try and find something about it. Like right now, my daughter, she's 4.5, and she wants to watch the '90s Super Mario film because she's seen it on the shelf, and I'm like, it's not good, but it is brilliant. But also, it might be a bit
Yes.
too scary for her, like at the
I
moment.
agree with all of that. I agree
Yeah.
with all of that.
So I'll always try and
Monch,
find
it's
something.
dirty and clean at the same time.
Yeah, it's like the absolute peak of cinema, but also it has no idea what it's doing. It's this wonderful conundrum. So that's very cool, and I relate to you like sneaking horror films and trying to see stuff because I grew up in a very strict household, a kind of quasi-religious household myself. So sneaking movies, especially once I started working in the video store, I was like, all right, what's the nastiest stuff I can find and sneak
Oh,
it past my folks. So
that's the dream. That's amazing.
and there are no video stores anymore, which sucks. That's why I've dedicated my adult life to turning my garage into a video store. So I'm still living the dream. You got some pretty sweet
Me too,
collectibles
brother.
behind you, man. And this is your kitchen. Ruff was on me before. So
Yeah.
um,
Yes.
how long has that been going on? Obviously, you're a fan of many things. For those listening
The
to Tom and Steve,
collecting?
Dave. Yeah.
My whole life. My
Mm,
whole life. I mean, like, I there's somewhere out there there's a picture of like my first bedroom when I like moved into our like new home when I was like 3,
Mm.
and my mom put up like a Simpsons poster and like a Big Bird doll and like all this shit, and that's just that fucking mentality has never left me. Like I've always been surrounded by the shit that I love.
Mm.
I would take you want to go on a little tour? I can fucking walk the laptop around.
Yeah,
I'm
do
not
it.
gonna,
I mean, the listeners will have to just take in the audio experience, but do it. I'd love to see it.
Show him your signed Michael Oliver picture. He loves Problem Child. He's
Yeah, you would
obsessed
tell him.
with Michael Oliver. He has signed Michael Oliver shit. Show him Michael Oliver, Jimmy.
I remember before we.
There he is.
Oh, there
There's
he is.
Michael Oliver.
Yeah, Rupp mentioned this to me. When I messaged him, I was like, "Hey, I think I'm friends with Jimmy the Hair Guy now." He's like, "Get him on the show. Get him to talk about Problem Child." I was like, "All right." Holy Christ, that is. Have you done a collector's corner on the Patreon for TESD yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things I did. In fact, that's when I met Rupp. Rupp came and filmed it.
I
That was
remember.
my old
Yeah, I
place.
know I've heard Rupp's episode, and I know that I was ironically managing my collection whilst I know Walt was just having a go at like just criticizing Rupp nonstop because there was no like theme to it. I was just
Well, the crazy thing about mine is like that was one of the first things they did with me. Like
Mm,
obviously I bought the hair and they brought me on that day, and then um Walt was trying to kind of figure out like what to do with me. Like he obviously like thought there was something interesting about me because who the fuck would buy hair for 2 grand? But like he was definitely trying to figure out like what to do with me. And I think they'd only done like one collector's corner at that
mm,
point. It was Walt's. I don't think there was a second one. And I kept like emailing him pictures of all my shit. And I was like, if you want to come by sometime, like we can definitely cover all my shit. And the thing with Walt, and Rob can attest to this, um, he definitely has short-term memory with some shit. And
yeah.
so it didn't matter how many times I fucking emailed him pictures of my shit, he never seemed to remember. But I somehow convinced him to come by with Sunday and Rupp filming. And Rupp, you were obviously there. Like you can attest to this as well. Like Walt didn't even know if this was a good idea. Like he was just like he wanted to use me. He didn't really know how. And because I kept pushing for him to come see my collection, he was like, all right, like fuck it. Like maybe there's content there. We'll see when we get there. Like I heard he's got masks or something. And then he walked in and he was like, "Oh fuck! Like we have content here. Like holy shit! We might even
It,
do another one. If all those are to play, I may do another because that was my old place when I was still single. Now I'm
yeah,
engaged in a much bigger place. So
yeah.
God willing,
Congratulations! I heard you got engaged. It's very exciting.
thank you, sir. Rupp is in the wedding.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I just froze for a bit because you literally were like, I had Walt Flanagan, Sunday Jeff, and Rupp visit my house. I was like, man, what a life to live. Like, that's just like,
Believe me, it happened to me, and I'm still not. I'm still riding high on it. Like it was. I didn't even really know them then. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I never even met Rupp. That was when I met Rupp for the first time. Rupp didn't even know if he liked me until well after that day ended. He wasn't sure
Had to
about me.
decide, yeah.
Yeah, we went and had lunch after, and Rupp wouldn't even look at me.
That's all right. I didn't know who Rupp was either. Like, I'd heard his name mentioned on Tell 'em Steve Day, but when he reached out to me for the first time, I was like, "Hey, my name's Brian. I run this podcast, and like I was just dealing with so many things and balancing my show. I was like, yeah, like let me look into it. I'll get back to you." And I was like, I should probably listen to this guy's show. And you had Brian Johnson on. I feel like this is the most niche episode of the podcast ever because we're going so deep on TESD mythology. I can't guarantee my listeners know what we're talking about, but that's fine. It's a dream for me. And I messaged him. I'm like, "Oh wait," I'm like, "Are you Rupp?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I said." And I was like, "Okay, I'm an idiot. No worries."
I use that to try to open a lot of doors. You know,
It worked, man. Like it was
Yeah.
it was really fun. But then I was like, I need to listen to this show. And then thankfully, like the podcast is brilliant. So it's always tougher when
Thank
you
you.
want to collaborate with someone and you hear a show and you're like, oh, okay. Or like if someone wants you to, I don't know if you've had many filmmakers on your show, Rupp, but I'm getting a lot now actually, which is really cool. Like a lot of indie filmmakers, and I'm always hesitant. 'Cause I'm like, I could watch this and this could suck, and then I have to either say no and come with an excuse not to have them on, or pretend that I like it, and I would never lie. But thankfully, it's been a pretty good strike rate so far. But it's always interesting.
Wow.
So I did ask Rupp about his first time on the show. What's it been like, the journey with TESD, man? Like, that's, as someone who's been listening since before there was a Tell 'em Steve Day podcast. Like, my first kind of exposure to the boys was in the films, and then of course on Smodcast as well. So, but now you've joined it. You're part of the crew. What's it been like, man?
It's still surreal. It's still
Yeah.
surreal. I mean, I'm sure Rupp will tell you the same thing. I mean, we're doing something in a few weeks, and
Next week.
oh no, next week. Yeah, next week we're doing it, and I'm like half excited and half shitting my pants, and that's kind of how I approach everything TSD. Like, I'm always excited. Like, anytime I get to even fucking see those guys for a minute is exciting.
Mm.
But I'm also shitting my pants because I'm like, all right, God knows what the fuck they're gonna have me do. God knows what the fuck stupid shit I'm gonna say. God knows how fucking stupid I'm gonna come off. God knows how they're fucking gonna rag on me this time. And it's a fucking, a lot goes through my mind before I fucking walk in that door. And then when I'm there, it's like I'm so fucking focused. Like, whatever happens, happens. You know what I mean? But it's still surreal, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I grew up watching those fucking movies. You know what I mean? Like, I always fucking loved all of Kevin's movies, especially the early shit.
Mm.
Especially when the ones that those guys were in, especially. And I've listened to the pod forever. When I bought that fucking hair, I didn't think I was gonna be on the show.
Yeah.
Even when he fucking came into the room and told me they're gonna have me on, like, there was no end game here. You know what I mean?
Mm.
This wasn't like a fucking devious plot. Like, I just bought the hair because I wanted the hair.
Yeah.
That was just something stupid that I would do. I had bought hair before. It wasn't something I ever sought out to do, but the opportunity presented itself, and my mind works a fucking certain way, and I'm like, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to have somebody who I admire's hair. Why the fuck not? I mean, I don't expect to have a relationship with this person, but I mean, what the fuck? Like, I admire them. I fucking look up to them. I follow their fucking work. Like, their hair's for sale. Fuck it. Why not? And it ended up being quite the investment. I mean, it wasn't the goal. I never foresaw this, but I'm certainly not upset about it. You know what I mean? It's just a fucking weird thing.
I think that's the common thread with most people who join TESD Town. Like, if you listen to the history, the ones that really work out are the one, I think with the exception of maybe Frank Five, who clearly wanted to be there. And that's not any shade against Frank. He's a great addition to the team. I love him. But I feel like Gidim never planned to be on the show and just became this constant heel, this constant burr,
Yeah.
and then kind of got absorbed. Rupp, when we talked about, you were just like, look, they want help. I happen to have a set of skills. You were like Liam Neeson in Take, and you're like, I got a particular set of skills. I can help these boys. Let's get it done. And same with you, Jimmy. Like, I know that new additions can always be polarizing to an audience, but for me, it's like I never got that vibe from anyone who's joined the show permanently or ongoing to be like, I want to be here. I want to be part of the gang. It's just like I just happened to show up, and then naturally you guys kind of just assimilated, which I think is really cool. So,
I mean, Walt makes the call. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It all comes down to Walt. And if Walt, we've had, I mean, I'm assuming you're caught up on the show. Like, we recently had Dr. D on. We had
fantastic episode.
I was there.
That might be one of the first. I went on. I'd like foolishly. I was like, let me check Reddit. But I was like, that was such a good episode. But the comments were unanimous. Everyone was like, she's amazing. Like, she was great.
Yep. And then we had Lieutenant D on. I keep saying we as if I have anything to do with it. They had Lieutenant D on, and I can't spoil it, but somebody was just on TSD and D. Like there's constantly new people coming in now. Johnny Law.
Yeah.
And this is all because Walt sees talent in somebody and says like you can fit in with this fucking posse of fucking characters. You know what I mean? And to his credit, they all do. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't brought a fucking dud in yet. Like, he knows fucking talent that fits this fucking world when he sees it.
And I was talking to Ruff about it, maybe just via message last year, because there's a moment that happened really recently in an episode that blew my hair back, and I didn't see anyone talking about it, so I had to mention it to Rupp. But it's really interesting watching the boys progression over the last 15 years. Like Walt wanted nothing to do with the show. He was just doing it. And then of course he became the mastermind. And the dude is like legitimately a genius. Like
Yes.
that's not me like sucking up. I've never spoken to the guy. Like
No, he is.
there have been half a dozen times where I wanted to email him. I'm like, I'm not going to. Like, I don't need to be that fan. Like, I can just listen and enjoy it. Like, even when he's having like a downtime, I'm like, everyone's going to message him. I don't need to be that guy. I can just enjoy the work. But then, like, you look at someone like Bry, who was, one foot off the stool. Falling in love and getting married is one thing, but there was something he said in a podcast recently. I think I messaged you about it, Rupp, where Quinn was like, "I hope you're around for 20 years," and Bry goes, "So do I." And I was like, "How come no one's talking about this? How come no one's talking about the fact that Brian wants to be around for 20 years?" Like every time he talks about his mental health, every time he talks about his life, he's always, he's always been so depressed. He's always had such a hard time. So to hear him say that, I was like, "Oh my god! Like this is like a watershed moment," and no one was talking about it. It blew me away, but that was really exciting to hear.
That's great you picked up on that though. That's much different than 15 years ago for sure. Yeah. No, that show has definitely done a lot for those guys. Mentally, financially, emotionally. Some of us characters, obviously.
Yeah, and for us as well, man. Like that is the only podcast I listen to religiously. Like, I'm a huge Kev fan. I finally got to watch 4:30 movie, and I loved it. I feel like it's a real kind of return to form for him. But I haven't listened to his podcast in ages. Like, Smodcast doesn't really exist anymore. The Fat Man Beyond stuff, they're just spoiling too many things during the pandemic. So I was like, I'll come back to it. I never did. So the only constant in podcasting is TESD.
I keep downloading Fat Man Beyond, and I never I always see what they're going to talk about, and I'm like, oh, all right, cool, I want to hear that. And then I'm like, it's 4 hours long, though.
I like it. I love the show, and I love Mark, and I think they're great, but I just fell behind. And I've been so invested the last few years in creating my own stuff. And again, you'll know this as well, Rob. Like, once you start creating, time for consumption goes way down. So it was just,
Tell me about it. My Letterboxd, I can't even log the movies I watch because I don't want to log them if I can't write a review. And I'm like so behind, and I don't want to abandon that. But, I can't even really watch movies. Like, the time where I sit on my couch to watch a movie start to finish, I can't tell you the last time I put one with no show, no agenda, where it's just for enjoyment. Like, if I'm watching something, it's something I have to watch because I'm going on a show or we're covering it on mine, something like that.
Popcorn kernels.
Well, now I just I review everything I watch, even stuff I've seen before. So like I'll do the 90-second reviews now. So it is always kind of work, but thankfully I do have a little bit of time. Now that my kid's a bit older, she's 4.5. Like, you still got, she's gonna be 2, man. Like, you got a young kid. Like, it takes up a lot of time, and you teach full time, and you're doing TESD and doing reviewing history. Like, I don't know how people do.
And
that
I have another one on the way.
Another child on the way.
Yeah, in August.
Congratulations! Very exciting.
Thank you.
Nice one. And do you know it's going to be a boy or a girl yet? Probably not the platform to
It's a girl.
Oh, congratulations. Nice. Very cool.
Another girl. So I got to keep rolling the dice so I can get my son.
Oh, you're a brave man. I think, like, if we had a second child, it would regardless be 2 and done. Like, I don't know. Like, the first one came out pretty good. I haven't questioned whether we need to go back for a second, but, we'll probably go one.
I need my name to live on. I can't be the last Ruppert. I feel that.
Just call her Ruppert, like, or make her middle name Ruppert, and you're done. Like, it's fine. We have an agenda. We should talk about, like, you've been so gracious, Rupp. Like, you've been here, but I've been like, let me just talk to Jimmy. You got a Patreon, which we were talking about the last time you're on, which is really exciting. It sounds like it's going quite well. Yep. And Jimmy, you're co-hosting a show with him. You're doing it all about slashes. Is that right?
That is correct.
So has the show dropped yet? Is it still forthcoming? How's that all going?
So when I first conceived of the Patreon, right, the Reviewing History Patreon, I had a whole bunch of ideas for shows I wanted to do. And I love Jimmy, and I love when I can incorporate him into the Reviewing History world. So, like, he's only been on 2 regular episodes, but every Christmas episode, I'm going to get this guy on if I can. I think he's the best, and, like, he's pure comedy. Like one of my favorite things I've ever come up with in the world is Jimpressions.
Okay, I don't know Jimpressions. What's this?
Oh no.
Oh no.
So
I make So Jimmy claims that he can do impressions. So I wrote innocuous phrases that he has to say as someone, and then people have to guess who he's saying. But the phrases aren't clues. And some of the people are obscure because Jimmy says he can do impressions of them. I have a clip on the YouTube channel. If you type in Jim impressions on reviewing history, I'm sure it'll come
Okay.
up.
I'll watch it later.
But
Oh God.
we did that on the regular show, and then I brought it over to the Christmas episode. He will tell you, I was laughing till I was crying. I could not fucking breathe.
Couldn't talk.
It's the funniest thing ever. Like, I was rolling. So I love things like that with Jimmy, and I love using him, and I love horror. And I came up with the idea. Me and Jimmy, we love horror movies. We love slashers. My co-host Anthony has never seen any slashers. He didn't see a single one really until we did The Burning on the channel.
Mm-hmm. Great episode. I love that episode of the pod. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that movie too. So I was like, okay, what if we do a show where me and Jimmy walk Anthony through slasher movies? And we'll call it Slasher School, and we'll show him all the movies that he's missed. And we recorded a bunch, like starting in the summer, I believe, and we've been banking them, and we've been recording them here and there when we can, and I've just been banking content for the Patreon, and I'm fully recorded basically until like August.
Nice.
So we have a giant backlog that we've recorded already, and Slasher School is, I think it's the best received show. I get the most comments about it. People love it. And I think there's good chemistry with me, Ann, and Jimmy there. And we're just going through the movies, talking about the history of them, the development, the movie itself, and then Anthony has to rate the movie based on his professor's opinions, which is me and Jimmy. And if he does not rate the movie properly, we put a dunce cap on him because he failed.
Oh, that sounds awesome. That's amazing. I got to get onto the Reviewing History Patreon. You definitely
play a game.
Go on. Here you go.
We play a game where we ask Ant to guess if I've met actors from the cast of the movie. And so, like, Rupp will go through the cast, and I've probably I got like 50% of them, Rupp. Like, it's always
Nice.
like,
yeah, I'll be like, has Jimmy met Jennifer Aniston when we're doing Leprechaun? You know, and then Anne has to guess, or has he met Warwick Davis?
Correct answer.
Are you asking me? Are you asking me, or I was just listening?
You can answer.
I do follow Jimmy on Instagram, and all the photos are celebrity encounters. But there's so many. So, like, when you said Jennifer Aniston and Warwick Davis, I was like, I don't know, probably, like, because it's just so there's so many.
One of them I have.
I reckon you've seen Warwick Davis.
That's correct.
He seems a little bit more accessible.
Jimmy was jealous of how tall he was.
Oh my fucking God!
I had a very cool '80s horror moment this week myself, or the last week. I got into a conversation with Barbara Crampton from Reanimator, which was pretty cool.
Oh shit!
I love her.
Yeah, a big fan of her. She saw a review I did on Reanimator, and she followed the show, which was kind of nice. But
yeah, you should try to get her on.
I did. That was the first thing I did. And she was like, I've got my own show, so probably not. I was like, that's cool if you change your mind. Like, I'm always here. And she's like, all right. So, but still, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. She's a classic final girl.
I was, well, she doesn't like that word, so be careful. I don't know if you've read her.
All right. Scream Queen, is that better?
Oh, wait, no, sorry. It's Scream Queen she doesn't like.
Scream Queen's what she hates.
That's the one she hates, yeah. Yeah, that was very cool. I was working, and I was like, I got distracted from my work, which doesn't happen very often. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. The show sounds really fun. I love talking about horror films. I don't get to talk about horror anywhere near enough on this podcast. I have to get horror podcast hosts on to talk about it, and then they don't want to talk about horror because all they do on their shows. So this is a fun opportunity. So in honor of your podcast, in honor of Slasher School, we thought we'd get together and chat about 5 of our favorite slashers. Originally, Jim was going to talk about his 5 favorite movies. He's like, I can't do that. That's not fair. So we've changed it, and we're going to do our top 5 favorite slashers. And Jimmy's already warned me some of them might be slashers. I'm looking at my list, and I'm now second guessing if some of mine are slashers, to be honest. And the listeners will tear us apart, and it'll be fun.
Well, let me
All
say
slashers.
Let me say one. Let me say
Rupp
one
did the
thing.
work,
So,
guys.
I bet we all did the fucking work. Let me say this. I'm gonna preface it with this. Slasher can be kind of a loose term,
Hmm.
and when I say that, I mean like without giving it away. I mean, Rupp, you can if you want, but we have done a movie for slasher school that I don't even necessarily know if it's technically a slasher. I mean, I guess it is,
It's
but
not. No, it's not. And we even
it's
said it at the beginning of the episode. We did Evil Dead. And the reason
right.
why was Anthony had never seen it. And I was like, look, it's slasher school, but I feel like we can expand to like things that are kind of close, but not really there, like Evil Dead that he hasn't seen, you know? So I feel like they can still exist in that space.
Evil Dead uses a lot of the tropes, so it's a lot of point of view, a lot of kind of peering through windows. A lot of the camera work mimics the slasher genre, and like to be fair, it's one of the most hotly debated topics in horror because people, some people will tell you the Black Christmas is the first slasher, some people tell you Texas Chainsaw, some purists
Yep.
will go back to
Even
Peeping
Tom.
Tom, which is I watched for the first time last year. Holy Christ, what an incredible film! Such a
Yep.
good movie. I can't believe they got away with half the stuff they did. Like it's insane.
Criterion, baby.
I don't have Criterion. What's my one? My one is, I think it's an Arrow release. Because I was in the UK.
Oh, very good. Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I love Arrow.
I spent 6 months in the UK, and I bought Blu-rays. I came home with over 100 Blu-rays, and they're all like Arrows and Criterions and all sorts of
Oh,
stuff. I
fuck
just had a
yeah.
suitcase full of movies. I had to declare it a custom, so that was
Do you
fun.
have is Umbrella out of
Australia, yeah.
Australia?
We have Umbrella, we have Viavision. They're doing some real. We have Imprint.
Yeah.
So we got some really sweet releases at the moment. They just did the Terrifier box set,
Yeah.
that big like work of art, the 3 box, which I was overseas for, so I couldn't order it because I was like, there's no guarantee there'll be anyone at home to receive it. So I missed out on that one. So I think I've got like a Terrifier from every region just about, but I got them.
I saw Umbrella's putting out the Peter Pan's what is it?
Neverland Nightmare.
Neverland Nightmare.
I was going to ask
Yeah.
you about that because you mentioned you're a Peter Pan fan. So have you seen that? Is that one that's obviously
No,
on your radar?
we were it's on my radar for sure. We were gonna go see it in the theater. I don't know how it is over there, but over here, like movies like that get like a one night release,
Yeah.
it's called Fathom Events, and like they play for like one night. Actually, lately they've been getting like a 3 night release, but it's like a Monday, a Wednesday, and a Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's a 7:30 showing, and if you miss it during that week, you wait till streaming or physical or whatever the fuck. We were gonna go, and this happened with the Winnie the Pooh movies too. Like we're always just like, fuck, we gotta go see this fucking new Peter Pan, new fucking Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and then it's like 7:30. I'm like, we'll just wait for streaming.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with that.
I did see Blood and Honey 2 in theaters. I managed to
You
get that.
did.
It was like a 3-day release, and I'm like, it's probably not going to be great, but like the opportunity is here. I've got to go check it out. So I haven't picked it up yet. I've got the first one on Blu-ray, but yeah, I saw
Did
Blood
you
and
like
Honey.
it?
I did. Like, there's some moments with it. Like the budget has gone up, and they've used the budget well. So they've invested in
Yes.
the costumes. They've invested
Yes.
in the practical effects.
Yes.
Because the first instinct for most people with a budget is to throw it in other areas, but they've used it
Yes.
well. Like the costumes in the first one, like obviously it's a costume, it's a guy in a suit. These ones, there's a lot more attention to detail. It looks more like they are
Yes.
creatures. The performance of Tigger, I think, may be a little bit questionable. He's trying to do a Freddy Krueger thing. The amount of times he calls people bitch, but that was really strange. But the gore effects were kind of cool, and I like the attention to detail with the costuming and makeup. So I'm all in on this Puniverse thing. I think, like,
Me too.
go on, yeah.
Can I give you guys a hot take?
Yeah.
Yes.
I hate the existence of all of these slashers based on children's properties.
I don't think that's a hot
not that
take.
hot.
I think that's a very
It's not
common
hot.
take.
Yeah, it is.
No,
But
I think it is. I think it is for film people and horror fans.
I don't know.
I think it's
I don't know. I hear that a lot.
Yeah, I hear it.
Well,
a lot
I
as
haven't
well.
even seen them. I refuse to watch them. I just think it's like a complete bastardization of something pure and innocent. And I think it's also lazy because you couldn't come up with your own original idea. This is just my personal view.
I've heard this and I understand it. I actually reviewed, what was it? Mousetrap, the Mickey's Mousetrap movie recently.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that one yet.
And it's not particularly good. Like, it's fine. Like, and that might be the most negative thing I've said on this podcast. I'm generally pretty positive. It's not particularly good, but I actually like independent filmmakers coming in and bastardizing this IP once it becomes public domain.
too.
And I think the reason is,
I do too.
we've talked about this as well, Rupp. Like, it's becoming so competitive. Like, unless you've got an angle, it's really hard to get your film noticed. So I think, like, if you've got these young, hungry filmmakers that are like, look, I don't have a lot of money, I don't have a lot of experience, but I can do something messed up. I can do something and like make a name for myself through that. Like, that's what Eli Roth did with Cabin Fever. Like, he was just like spamming it, like in like the late '90s, early 2000s, and just by chance, like people kind of picked up on it, became, and then Eli Roth became one of the biggest names in horror. I think, like, I get it. Like, I don't know if it's the best gateway, but it's a gateway into a career. The problem is, I agree with you on the laziness. I was the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I think we could have done so much more with it. I think it was just like a standard slasher. We could have really leaned into the lore more. We could have made it more on brand, and instead it was just like, it's a slasher. They happen to dress like Winnie the Pooh characters. So I do understand the laziness comment for sure.
I think it's so easy to just say, oh, what's coming, what's going to be public domain next year? Oh, 2035, James Bond is a public domain in everywhere but America. Okay, time to do a James Bond. Well, no, I'm just saying.
Well, I was going to ask you about this.
It could be Popeye, Felix the Cat, Pink Panther, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Oh, give me all of it.
It's so easy to just look at what's coming out and then just do a shitty slasher based on it. And like, you didn't give it any real thought or creativity. You didn't come up with like an original story. You're just slapping on an IP, and it's basically the same thing people will shit on a big studio for, where it's like, why is Disney remaking all their animated movies? Why are they remaking Snow White?
Well, I'm anti that for sure. Which is, I guess I'm a hypocrite.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's like, I hate it so much. And like, these are pure innocent things for children. And like, why do they have to become these demented, horrible things? Like, why can't something just stay pure and innocent? Why do we have to do this?
Can I ask you something? And this is maybe the most extreme question I've asked on a podcast.
Yeah.
Would you watch a porn parody of Batman?
It's funny. I'm strangely more okay with the porn parody because I feel like it's almost more of a farce, and it's not like as it's not as like,
it's an unfair question. I didn't prepare you for that one, but I think it's
no. It's fair because I think it's already labeled as parody. It's already a parody, whereas this is like, we're doing a true adaptation of this thing almost, and it's not parody. And I think that's the difference.
I think like the fact that they're calling it Blood and Honey, they're like, look, this is not Disney's Winnie the Pooh. This is the horror edge. But I get it. Look, I'm very, this place is very accepting of all opinions and thoughts, and you're making some really good points as well. I don't know. I like watching Winnie the Pooh. I like watching Christopher Robin, but I also like knowing that if I do want to see something demented, I can turn on Blood and Honey and have a weirdly good time with it. So, but I get it. I got a friend. She was on the show a while ago, and her biggest thing in the world was Winnie the Pooh, and the stance that you're taking was very similar. She might have even taken it to a bigger extreme. She was like, if I could cancel those people, I would. I was like, fair enough. So,
I basically agree. Like, I'm upset. Like, I think Disney shouldn't have lost the copyright for Mickey Mouse. Like, I think it's ridiculous that they even lost the copyright to Mickey Mouse. So, that's a whole other thing.
Serves them right.
Well, we know. Look, we know that America's got some weird laws, especially when it comes to the entertainment industry. So, that is bizarre, though. And the Bond thing is upsetting. Knowing that it's going to be,
I think that's probably why. I think that's probably why the broccoli sold, honestly. I think they were looking at 2035, and they're like, well, it's going to be public domain for the rest of the world in 2035. So starting in 2035, there could be an Australian James Bond movie they do. Every country but America can have their own James Bond. So it's like, at that point, the genie's out of the bottle. This might be whoever Amazon casts could theoretically be the last, like, in canon James Bond, because the door's open after that. Everyone can make their own James Bond movie, and even though they're not allowed to stream or like be shown in America, it's going to find its way here. Sure. That's just the reality. So it's like, I think they were like, well, we're going to make $1 billion and we still get 50% of whatever Amazon makes. So, yep, let's sell it. And then if they really wanted 2035, they probably could do their own James Bond because it's public domain.
Yeah, it's true. That's the long game. They'll take it because we can have the rights in 10 years anyway. I hadn't thought about that. You always have really fascinating theories on the way things go. We were talking offline a few weeks ago about Scream 7 because there's been so many leaks about that, and you're like, I think maybe they're not the leaks we think they are. I think it might just all be like flashbacks and kind of digital recreations. I was like, okay, which is kind
They
of cool.
keep announcing people too. They keep announcing old cast members coming back, like Dewey is in it again.
Yeah, Dewey, who famously
And
spoilers for a 3-year-old movie, but he's not in those movies anymore. Like,
yeah, so I'm convinced that it's going to be an AI thing.
they're starting a multiverse. They're going to do the Scream multiverse.
Now that'd be fun
because everyone's doing that now. All right, we got weirdly off topic there, but I know because you brought up Neverland Nightmare, and we're talking about the releases. Okay, I know I can track it now. So we're going to do our top 5 favorite slashes of all time. I'm really excited. As I said to you guys before the show, I think my list is kind of basic with maybe a couple of interesting ones in there. But look, Jimmy, you are the new guest, so let's start off with you. What did you put in at number 5?
All right, my number 5 is kind of an interesting one. Well, I could argue they're all interesting ones. My number 5. So, oh boy, how much time we got here? So, I really racked my brain over this, and in the end, I God knows I probably missed something. First, let me just say honorable mention because I couldn't fit it in my top 5. We already mentioned them. Leprechaun. If this was 10 years ago, Leprechaun would be in my top 5, hands down. Having rewatched it for Slasher School somewhat recently, it doesn't hold up the way I remember it. I still love it. I still fucking love it. But the magic that I had with it, like even into my 20s, I don't know, man. I think it went away. And I haven't seen the sequels recently enough to really comment on them. So Leprechaun will not be in my top 5, but he gets an honorable mention because I wish he could be. My number 5, kind of a strange pick, but I really wanted it represented. I'm pretty sure this is a fucking slasher. I think it fits the mold because it basically ripped off Freddy Krueger and the other bullshit I love. But my number 5 would be Wishmaster.
All right.
Directed by the great Robert Kurtzman.
I didn't give you this warning that I gave Rupp. For all the movies I've seen, there are tons I haven't seen, so get ready to be disappointed. I haven't seen Wishmaster. It's on my pre-order list on my website, but I don't have it.
Okay, so it's directed by Robert Kurtzman, who is famously an amazing FX guy.
Yeah.
I believe he only directed one film, and it was Wishmaster, which is a shame because I think he did a great job with it. I mean, the acting is horrendous, but the effects are fucking awesome. The kills are super creative. Andrew Divoff plays the titular Wishmaster, which is a fucking genie. I love the idea of a fucking killer genie. The sequels are fun, but the original is so fucking awesome. He's quipping the whole time. The kills are creative. He kills Freddy Krueger, Jason, and Candyman in it, and I believe somebody else.
Oh, wow.
They're all in
cool.
it. Cool.
That is cool.
Englund's in it. Kane Hodder's in it. Tony Todd is in it. They all die, and I think there's a 4th. And I can't think of who it is. Rupp, can you help me out on this one? Do you have any idea?
I saw it once, so I don't know.
Remember?
Is it what's Chucky's actor's name?
He's not.
Why am I drawing a...
No,
Brad
he's not
Dourif,
in it.
thank you.
I wish. Oh God, do I wish. No, he's not in it. I think there's a 4th, but I'm blank. Could be Pinhead, could be Doug Bradley. I have no idea. I suck. I'm a fraud. But I think
Angus
that movie
Scrimm?
is... Oh no, it's not
Angus
him. I don't think it's
That's
him.
That's a
He's
deep
the narrator.
Is he the
Ted
narrator?
Raimi?
No.
Yeah, Angus Scrimm is the narrator. Ted Raimi is in it.
Ted Raimi's in it? I don't even remember that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Does he die? He must. Well, anyway, it's awesome. It's a lot of fucking fun.
Tom Savini?
Is Savini in it too?
Yeah.
Savini's in everything. Savini's in so many things.
Wait, you looking at the IMDb right now?
Yeah, I have the Google cast up, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fucking good one. I mean, the kills in it are so fucking like elaborate and fucking. I mean, do you know the plot at all, man? Like, basically, what it comes
I
down
didn't
to
even
is
know it
like,
was a genie, and like the title's pretty obvious now that you've said it. So,
yeah,
like,
yeah. So basically, like, whatever you wish for, he finds a way to like grant it, but it kills you and he takes your soul.
okay.
And like, and people end up making wishes without even realizing they're making wishes. Like at some point when he kills Kane Hodder, um, like he
Spoiling
wishes
it.
that. You're right. You're right. I won't say anything. It's fun. It's just a lot of fun. You should
Whatever
definitely
they
fucking
wish
see it.
for, it goes awry and it fucks their day up, basically.
Yeah.
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 It's a
Yeah.
good movie. I like Wishmaster.
I
Nice
love
one.
it. I
Sounds
fucking love it.
sounds eerily like the Baron. Like there's a lot of stuff that the Baron does that's double edged. So yeah.
Yeah. Very Baron-esque.
When are we getting a Baron movie, by the way, guys? Like I feel like it's got to be
I would
coming.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
Got to
I
do it.
wrote I wrote during the pandemic an episode. I wanted to do it on Patreon. I wrote a treatment for a TESD sitcom pilot, like a workplace comedy,
Yeah.
that I wanted to shoot one episode of. And I thought it
Nice.
was pretty funny. Walt liked it, but he was like, "We would never be able to make this. We didn't have the time." I wanted to shoot it like multiple days, like when
Yeah.
Q's there, we shoot. But he didn't want to do it. I wanted to treat it like a 22-minute, like Seinfeld-esque workplace comedy that
Yeah.
I thought was really funny.
Well, because the boys aren't really big into. I know you're a huge Seinfeld fan. I'm a big Seinfeld fan as well, but the boys aren't really into Seinfeld, are they? They're not. That was kind of after them.
It's written in that way, but it's
Mm.
not Seinfeld. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
they all have their own plot threads and they kind of tie together at the end.
Nice. Very
Yeah.
cool. Awesome, man. Well, I know what's just shot to the top of my list, which is Wishmaster. I'm going to have to order that today because that sounds awesome. What do
It
you got
is. It's
for us,
fun.
Rupp? What's your first slasher?
All right. So my honorable mention, and I've only seen it once, and I think when I watch this again, it will jump up and be pretty high. My honorable mention is Fade to Black, which I think is a
Okay.
fucking
Very good.
fantastic movie.
Very good.
I think it's like the first like meta slasher, honestly.
Yep.
But
I
my
don't think I've
number
even
f-
heard
my
of
nu-
it. Like, how have I not heard
oh,
of this?
it is fantastic.
You're not alone.
Okay.
I believe what's his name? Bill
Dennis
Paxton, I
Christopher?
believe, is in it.
Oh,
Okay.
No, isn't Bill Paxton in it, Jimmy? It's his first movie. He has like a role. I'm fairly
yeah, I think
certain.
you're right. Let me look. I just
but-
saw it recently too.
Yeah, it is fantastic. It's a proto meta slasher. It's well done. If you're a film fan and you love movies, it's going to hit a sweet spot for you. It's an underseen gem. I've only seen it once and I loved it. I definitely want to watch it again, and I think it'll jump up. But my number 5 is Freddy vs. Jason.
Yes. Okay.
That is a great pick.
And the reason for it is it's one that I have seen probably the most. Like I was in high school when that came out, I believe 2003.
Yep.
My family
Yep.
had the hot box,
Same.
and there's like a 5-year stretch where we had the hot box, which was an illegal cable box. And what that would do was you would be able to watch the pay-per-views like live. And usually there were 4 pay-per-view channels, and that movie would run all day. And when Freddy vs. Jason was on pay-per-view, I would watch it over and over and over again. So out of the slasher movies I've seen the most, this is probably number 2. And aside from that, as far as like the characters go, it's a great like final moment as Freddy for Robert Englund. He gets to go out on top with like a big hit, a movie that's not garbage. I don't think Kane Hodder is Jason in it. I believe
No,
he wasn't asked back.
Ken Kersinger.
Kurtzen is it? Oh, what's his name? It's
Ken
a different.
Kersinger.
Yes, Kurzinger. Yeah, because Mears is the remake one. Derek Mears did 2009.
Yeah.
Kurzinger is 2003. He's a great Jason. I know that, like, obviously Hodder missed out. I understand it, but there's a moment like when they're in the because they're kind of in the dream world and the water's running down and it's dividing Freddy and Jason. And there's something about the way Kurzinger like brings this presence. Like he's curious and there's like a bit of fear, but he's still the most intimidating Jason you've seen. Yeah, I really like him in the role. Sad for Hodder, but I think Kurzinger did a great job.
Yeah, I have no complaints with his portrayal of Jason. I mean, I think the movie has to do a lot of hard work as
Yep.
far as like as far as building two different threats together, supernatural and the physical world, and then
Mm,
getting them to fight and having it be satisfying with good kills throughout and
mm.
all the beats you want from those characters. And it gets there, and it gets it done really well. I believe Ronnie Yu directed it.
Yeah, he did.
Fresh off
He
of Bread
also
of
did,
Chucky.
yeah, Bride of Chucky. So I love the look of it. It's like there's something about that early 2000s era. We're all roughly the same age, and
Mm,
those that early 2000s like gloss, but like it's I don't know. I can't explain. The early 2000s look has such like a place in my heart
hmm.
that I can never get away from. And this movie is one I've seen more than like any other. So I absolutely love it. And it had big shoes to fill, and it did. So
I agree. Like, really, like I really like the makeup on Freddy because they've changed it again. It's got a little bit of the new Nightmare flair, but it is still paying homage to the original makeup. You got some great stunt casting with people like Catherine Isabel, who probably wasn't even that well known at the time, but she'd just come off Ginger Snaps, which is another really great
uh,
film. Um,
movie's awesome.
yeah. And yeah, like it is watching it now, 'cause I watched it probably in the last year or so. It is weird that the way they wrap that film up is that they dream that they can bring Freddy out of the dream. Like it's a weird, but at the time it's like, yeah, it just goes for. And there's some really good Freddy kills, like the caterpillar is really fun. Um, yeah, I really like Freddy vs. Jason. I don't know if you guys are fans of Kumail Nanjiani, but there's a bit on that film about how the most egregious thing that the child rapist and killer does is be racist in the movie.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
quite fun
Yeah.
as well.
Do
Um,
you remember the marketing for the film? Like they had Freddy and Jason in Vegas, like get like do a weigh-in and shit. Like
mm.
what a magical time that was, man. And it ended up being a massive hit. Like what a fucking time that was. I remember seeing it the theater opening weekend, and like I remember seeing the poster for it like in like April,
Mm.
and like it said it was coming out in August, and I'm like, this can't be real. And then I realized, no, it is fucking real. Like this is really happening. And I for literally every day until its release, it was like all I could think about. And it pretty much closed out the summer. Like I started high school, I think it was my sophomore year, like 2 weeks after the movie came out. But I mean, it was such a fucking massive hit. Like it was number one of the weekend. It made it made like triple what Jason X had made. Like it fucking oh my god. I remember going back to school and like everybody was talking about it. Like it was just such a wonderful fucking time to be alive for this shit. Like because you're right, it was the end of a fucking era. Like they got England to come back and do it, and that was it. You know what I mean? But they went out on such a fucking high note. Like, God, what a wonderful time that was.
Flick has a great
Sorry.
soundtrack. No, go, gosh, it's a great.
Nostalgia hour over here.
No, you're all good. Great soundtrack. Roadrunner Records produced it, which obviously the forefront of metal, especially at that time. You had Spineshank, and I think Slipknot and stuff on it, which was great. It is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy they didn't build off it. It's insane they didn't build off it. And I'm sure you guys know the story, but I'm going to say an unholy name here for a second. But the Weinsteins approached Kevin about doing something with the monsters.
Yeah.
Like they were like, we want to do kind of like Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein, but let's do Jay and Silent Bob meet the monsters, and he turned them down. What a weird, what a weird generation of film that would have been. I would have been
I
totally
know.
down with it.
Also, Ash was supposed to be. They were going to do
Yeah.
a triple threat. It was going to be Ash
Yeah.
versus Freddy versus Jason, which I think would have been awesome too.
They made a comic instead, right? Is that what they did with it?
Yeah.
There is a comic, yeah.
Yeah, that was before I'd seen Evil Dead. I was familiar with Freddy and Jason. I'd started to dabble a little bit at that point because I would have been 15, I think, maybe 2003. I think I was 15. I would have been 15. Yeah, so I'd started to dabble with it, but I didn't know Evil Dead. I wasn't aware of it yet, so I was like, Ash is Ash. Like, just do monsters. And then once I saw Evil Dead, I'm like, oh no, do Ash. That's great. Like, we should do that.
And I had I knew Jay and Silent Bob because that was the only Kevin Smith movie I had seen at that point.
Mhm.
So I thought that kid with the beanie, who was clearly supposed to be Jay,
Yes.
I thought that
100%.
was Jay when I was a teen. I thought that Jay was in that, as a new character, but I thought that was Jay.
There's a really good documentary called Never Sleep Again, which is about the
it's fantastic.
and Jason Mewes shows up in it. He's like, "Man, I had a great time." He's like, "Hang on, I wrote this film." That and Crystal Lake Memories. Like, there's about 16 hours worth of content between the two docs, but they're amazing.
Incredible.
Really, yeah. Good. I don't like. I was like, oh, and then In Search of Darkness is obviously wonderful. I'm like, we're getting off track. We're getting stuck into the horror.
I haven't seen that one. There's a couple of those, right?
There's 3. They're on Shudder.
Yeah.
They're about 5-6 hours a piece, and they're really good. They interview like all different like makeup artists and actors and directors, and even like Joe Bob Briggs and Diana Prince. Like they show up to. I've been trying to get on the show as well. I've been talking to her a little bit. She said yes, but she was also incredibly high when we were messaging, so I don't know how that's going. But
they were just at my buddy's store back in Massachusetts last weekend.
Oh, nice! I would have sent photos from them then. Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely accessible.
Yeah,
I'm a diehard fan of them.
Yeah, they're cool. Nice one. Well, my number 5, and this is I do think it's a slasher. I was thinking about. I haven't watched it in about 18 months. I don't think there's a whole lot of like blade play, which I know is kind of the defining feature of a slasher. But it's a camp film. It's it's shot from POV. It's definitely a slasher in my mind. And this is a flick that I first got introduced to through Smodcast, and I think through Walton Bry actually. And I don't know how it holds up today for modern audiences, but Sleepaway Camp is one of my favorite flicks of all time. I love going back to that one. I actually did something a little bit different. Instead of doing my top 5, I've done one from each decade. So the 70s got ignored, but I've done one from the 80s, one from the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s. So my 80s film is Sleepaway Camp. I couldn't decide. I was like, man, there's so many good ones. But if I just go with my favorites, I'm ignoring all these other wonderful films. So so those who haven't seen Sleepaway Camp, young Angela and her cousin go to this camp. If you like men in tight shorts and long hair, this is the film for you, because there's a lot of male junk up front. If you like really creepy cooks hitting on 8-year-old girls, this is the film for you. If you
Where I'm from, we call them baldies.
Oh, that's so upsetting. If you like women being violated by curling irons, this movie is for you. It shouldn't be fun. It shouldn't be good. It has everything going against it, but man, I can't help myself. I think it's a great flick. And that twist, I won't spoil it. It's a 40-year-old film, but that twist is the scariest moment of the film for me. Like the expression that Angela pulls, Felissa Rose, and they freeze frame on her face. It is terrifying. Like still, like I'm 36, almost 37. And that shot still scares me. Just the look she's pulling. But it's also really fun, even though everything I've said is horrifying. It's a really great flick.
We covered that for Slasher School. That was the first thing we did.
I knew you had to. I knew it had to be on there. Yeah.
It was the very first one. I was like, I want to we're throwing Ant into this world. I was like, I want to start him off with like something so out there and weird. And I was like, Sleepaway Camp is the way to go.
Yeah, it
we did
really
like an hour and a half covering it.
Yeah, it's an incredible flick, man, and it's one of those ones it's never been available in Australia. I had to buy a region-free player just so I could watch Sleepaway Camp. I was like, I'm just going to buy a region-free player so I can import Sleepaway Camp from America. It was the only way I could get it. But yeah, it's becoming more and more well known now because of the internet, and I think because people are talking about it. But it's a real hidden gem. A lot of people hadn't heard of it, and it's insanely well made. People think about Freddy and Jason. People think about The Burning is another real deep cut slasher. But I think people know about The Burning even more than Sleepaway Camp. But it's just they used age appropriate kids in that film. It's a messed up movie. They kill children in that film, and the plot line, the underlying plot that leads to the twist, is maybe the most convoluted thing ever. I don't know if you know the podcast How Did This Get Made, but they did it, and they spent an hour just on the first 5 minutes of the film trying to understand what it means. I love Sleepaway Camp. I think it's so good. Probably would never show my wife that film though.
Rupp actually recreates the ending and the intro to Slasher School.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We recreate a couple of horror movies in the intro to Slasher School. So Jimmy does Psycho. He's in the shower. We duplicate the shower scene.
Nice.
Anthony, we did the ending of Blair Witch. and we
Yep.
did the ending of Sleepaway Camp for my part of Slasher School for the intro.
Nice.
I think the intro is great. I think it's really fun.
I gotta sign up for it. And I was saying before, you also exposed me before. You're like, oh, Jimmy did the impressions on the Christmas episode, and I was like, oh, did he? I haven't listened to the Christmas episode yet. My Bandcamp wasn't working in the UK, and I was thinking about that. I was like, man, I've got to listen to that. But now you've sold me even harder on it, so I'll definitely check that out.
Thank you.
Nice one, man. Okay, cool. I didn't think anyone would be disappointed with Sleepaway Camp.
No, that's a great pick.
Yeah.
That's a great.
All right, Jimmy, number 4. What do you got?
Number 4. All right. So this is gonna this might be blasphemous to some. I'm curious how Rupp's gonna feel about this one.
He's preparing to be disappointed.
He is. So basically, when I made my choices, I really, I had to like be true to myself. Like, what have I seen a million times? How long have I been a fan of these films? This one falls back into that category of I saw this on a fucking Saturday afternoon on antenna TV, you know what I mean? Like fucking with commercials, and it fucked me up so fucking bad. And I don't know if it holds up, but there's some great fucking shit in it, and I've always been like a super apologist for it. And I mean, I don't think everybody hates it so much, but it's definitely one of the lowest ranked in the franchise. I'm of course referring to Mr. Ruppert's favorite franchise. I am referring to Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. I love that fucking movie so goddamn much. Michelle is currently trying to see your face, Rupp, to see if you're disappointed or not. She's off screen staring at you. Oh, you approve. You approve. The kills in that. Go ahead.
I love Jason Goes to Hell. It's not my top, but I love that movie. I think it's a great movie. I think the director knocked it out of the park. I think it's unique. I think it builds on the lore. I absolutely adore Jason Goes to Hell.
And there's great people in it too. What's his name? Fucking Stephen Culp, the guy that was in 13 Days, and the great Richard Gant, from Deadwood, plays the coroner.
Who's the black guy?
The coroner?
The black guy. Black guy who shows up with the hat.
Stephen Williams?
Yes.
From like
amazing performance.
And god damn, what's that fucking guy's name? He just died. Leslie, the guy that's short like me, and he fucking gets dunked in the goddamn fryer and shit, like from the fucking trailer park. I mean, there's just like crazy shit in that. The fucking tent kill is insane. Like he fucking kills somebody. Like literally, characters are introduced.
Leslie Jordan.
Leslie Jordan is in it. Yeah, I mean, characters are literally introduced in that movie for all of 10 seconds just so they can be killed brutally. And like I saw that when I was like 8, and I was like, first of all, I think I turned it on after Jason. Like, have you seen it, James? Are you familiar with the film?
I've seen it a couple of times. I remember not being impressed with it the first time. The second time I watched it was a few years ago, and I remember enjoying it more because I bought the Shout Factory or the Scream Factory box set.
Baby.
That really nice one. So I haven't seen it in a while, but now that I've got my home theater set up, I think it's time to give them all a spin again. But I liked it more the second time. But I'm definitely a Jason apologist. I love Jason X. I think that's really underrated.
I do too.
I love Jason Takes Manhattan. My only critique of that film is it should have been a musical, because with a name like that, how could it not be? And one of my favorite Jason films of all time is, and this is going to really separate the men from the boys, A New Beginning. I think A New Beginning is hugely underrated. I think everyone's like, oh, it disrespects the franchise. Not at all. You killed Jason in the last movie, so why would you bring him back? Like, that's not disrespecting it. Why wouldn't you have a copycat? I love 5.
I love it too.
So I do like the ones.
Almost made my list.
Did number 5 almost made your list?
Almost made my list. I love it. It's so it's so sleazy. I absolutely love it. Has one of my favorite moments in the entire franchise. Yeah, I love 5.
That one's great. And I don't know if you've ever read, they did a really nice coffee table book like years ago now, like maybe almost 20 years ago, the Crystal Lake Memories book, and they show an unused kill of the blonde girl, and like they actually like cut her up the middle from the bottom. What Terrifier did years later, like they basically did that, but it was for the 80s. Like it's too extreme, we have to cut it. But there's photos of the gag and stuff. So I love that franchise. Jason was my guy for the longest. I still like Jason.
That's Rupp's guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rupp is die hard.
Anyway, sorry, you're talking about Jason Goes to Hell. So sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, I think the first time I saw it, I think I turned it on, and Jason was already dead. I mean,
yes,
spoilers, but he dies 5 minutes into the movie.
That was the problem I had it when I first was. I'm like, wait, a Jason film with no Jason? What are we doing? But like, yeah.
Yeah, and his heart is jumping body to body, and so basically, like, zombie Jasons are walking around fucking killing everybody in town, and it just fucked me up. Like, I was like fucking probably 7 or 8, and I'm watching fucking like these fucking ghouls walking around this fucking small town. Fucking, there's some crazy shit in there. I mean, the tent scene is iconic as fuck. There's a chick who gets her fucking head crushed in the fucking door of a car. There's fucking, he's after a fucking baby the whole time. The fucking, every time he fucking transfers his heart from whatever fucking body he's in to somebody else, shaving the fucking guy on the table, and then fucking the heart goes into, I mean, it's just fucking, there's crazy fucking shit in that movie. The writer of the fucking movie gets the fucking, whatever the fuck that claw thing is through his fucking face. I mean, there's fucking wild shit in that. Like the fat chick, Leslie Jordan's wife, takes a fucking shot to the mouth, and like her whole fucking like chin goes into her face, and then Leslie Jordan gets his face boiled, and it just like, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? This is fucking brutal, like it almost fucked me over as far as loving the Jason movies, because the other ones, by the time I saw them later on, almost seemed tame in comparison, because the kills are so fucking crazy in that one. Also, they set up Freddy vs. Jason with the ending, what, fucking 10 years before it ever finally ended up happening? I mean, that was all fucking...
Not only that, they set up Evil Dead and Ash too, because they have the Necronomicon, which I love, because it explains why Jason is alive and why he's like able to live in a zombie person, and it kind of makes sense of the original Friday the 13th a bit.
Yes, I love that fucking movie.
This is why I loved this podcast, because that's a movie that I didn't love, and I've started to like a little bit more. Hearing you talk about and point out, I'm like, oh my God, look, of course I have to go watch this again. Like, that's why I love doing this show, because it gets me excited about stuff. It makes me watch stuff I've never seen before. Like Fade to Black, you were talking about before. I'd never heard of that. Well, that's gone to the top of the list. Wishmaster. And now this, I'm like, I really need to go back and watch Jason Goes to Hell again. Like, this sounds amazing. What did I miss? Yeah, that's awesome.
Fade to Black, going back to that real quick, was on Joe Bob recently on the last drive-in, and I had wanted to see it forever because I always heard it was great, and thank God for Joe Bob Briggs. Like he forces me to watch shit that I've wanted to see forever that I just haven't made time for. And I'm like, all right, Joe Bob showed it, now I gotta finally watch it. And Fade to Black is fucking excellent. Nice. You definitely gotta see it.
Awesome. I got to get my Shudder. I had to cancel my Shudder before I traveled, but now that I'm back, I can get it running, because Shudder I got because Rupp recommended One Cut of the Dead. So I was like, oh, it's on Shudder. That's how I watch it.
Also on Joe Bob. If you need Shudder, you can use mine. I mean,
that's how I managed to see The Sadness, which is an incredible film. That's how I managed to see Suitable Flesh. Like, yeah, there's some really
I've seen.
Yeah.
Joe Lynch.
Nice one. Rupp, what's next for you, man?
For me, I had to stay true to my roots. It's a more recent favorite, but I absolutely adore. I love nudity in my horror movies.
Me too, and we don't talk about it a lot in 2025. We don't talk about it as much. But slasher, like, I have expectations. I need to see gruesome kills, and I need to see monsters chasing women. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that might sound horrible, but that's the staple of the genre. Like, and
it's my biggest problem with the Terrifier franchise and a lot of modern horror. They're completely averse to showing nudity and boobs.
Well, the first one you get a lot.
In the original Terrifier, I don't remember boobs.
Yeah, she's upside when she's cut upside down. She's
Okay,
she's only in
Right.
underpants, I
Right.
think. I just rewatched it. I was like, Jesus Christ, this film.
I haven't seen it since like 2018, so
Okay.
I'll take your word for the first one. Definitely not in 2 and 3 though. There's no
No, there's
nudity,
not. 3, there's very close because there's a shower scene. But it's
but there's nothing.
strategically placed. But it's interesting, like because the first Terrifier, I thought was okay the first time I watched it, but as I watched the sequels, it makes the first one better. Like if you go back, the first one becomes more enjoyable. Might not be the right word, but it's definitely yeah, more enjoyable.
First one's my favorite in the franchise.
Mhm.
I'll be honest. I haven't seen it in a while, but I do like that one the best. But I love nudity in my heart. To me, it's an essential ingredient of the formula, and if it's not there, I dock points. So I went with something that's sleazy trash, but I absolutely love Slumber Party Massacre. We did it
Yes.
on Slasher. We did it on Slasher School. I don't. That one's not out yet, but I absolutely adore it. It's funny. It knows what it is. It gives you all the stuff you could want from a slasher with good kills and all that. But at the end of the day, it's a tit show. And it's like, here's a bunch of boobs. And it's actually directed by a woman too, which makes it even kind of fun. Or it was written by a woman. Did a woman direct it, Jimmy?
I think so. And Joe Bob Briggs made the argument that it's the most. I forget if he said it was the most or the first feminist horror film. Like he really argued that it's a fucking super feminist fucking horror movie
Yeah.
or slasher or whatever. I forget how he argued it, but yeah, he went through all of that. It was completely made by women, and
Yeah.
it's like made for men. Like it's I don't know, it's fucking great. I love that movie.
Like it's everything I could want in a movie. Like I could watch it again tomorrow. There's hot chicks, there's boobs, there's kills. To me, it's like, yeah, is this like Citizen Kane? No, but for like the junk food that is the slasher genre, it's exactly what I want to eat when I go to a slasher. Like to me, they all should have this much nudity. So,
The
mwah,
second
chef's
one is
kiss to
fun
Slumber
too.
Party Massacre. Yeah,
That
second one's fun too.
that makes me think of there was a movie I watched. It's a Linnea Quigley film, Nightmare
Love her.
Sisters. I don't know if you've seen Nightmare Sisters. Not a slasher.
No,
It's
I
more
haven't seen
about
it.
witches, but it's exactly the same sort of thing. It's like, yeah, it's a witch film, but really, it's just to showcase 3 really hot girls with their clothes off the whole time. Um,
Sounds good to me. What's this called?
it's called Nightmare Sisters, and for some reason, there's a very long bath scene, and that's all I'm going to say about it.
Well,
Let me
I'm
jump
adding it
back.
to the list.
Let me jump back real quick, James. Have you seen Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3?
Yeah. I didn't love
I
them the first time I watched them, but
I
now like
love
this,
them.
they're so funny. And the girl
I
who,
love
as
them.
much as I wish Felissa Rose was still in them, the girl who replaces them is hilarious in them.
It's Springsteen's sister.
That's right, it
Yep.
is. That's right. Yeah, yeah, she's great
I
in it, man.
prefer I prefer the sequels if I'm being honest. Sleepaway Camp 2 and
I do
3.
too. I do too. I think they're fucking great.
Which is the one where she keeps hiding the bodies just in the storage shed, and like like she just keeps.
I think that's the second one.
Yeah, I think so because I don't think she's in 3 as much. 3 is a little bit different because 2 they're onto her. They're like she was a boy. Like they're kind of like
Yeah.
talking about like they're very on. 3 they don't really know who she is. She's not in it as much. I think she wasn't like really digging it, but yeah, 2's great. It's really fun. Um, nice one. Yeah, I've seen Sorry, Summer Party Massacre. So that's a good one too.
That's a great one.
Um, okay, this is where I go mainstream as mainstream, but I can't talk about the 90s without talking about this flick. This flick is the slasher genre, I think, for most people. It's an introduction for a lot of people. And Wes Craven, so people already figured it out probably already.
I knew immediately.
We have to talk about Scream. I know it's like the slasher film, it's the go-to one, but that flick holds up insanely well. Like
It does.
it's a satire, like it's doing what Cabin in the Woods did for the genre as well. It's kind of poking fun at it, but still executes a really well-made slasher film. The first 10 minutes are terrifying. Like when I first watched it, I watched it years after seeing Scary Movie, so I was like, it's fine.
Same.
But when I rewatched it a couple of years ago, I was like, holy Christ! Like the parents walking home on the eviscerated body of Drew Barrymore, and like you think Drew Barrymore's gonna be in the whole flick? Like she's a big name star. Like she's gonna be in this movie.
I think
Spoilers
she
for
was the
30.
biggest name in the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, like spoilers. 30 years on, like she dies in the first scene. It's so iconic. It's really fun. Like there's a lot of great like horror and slasher trivia in it, and the cast is really likable. Even your villains are likable. Like, when you get the reveal, it's Stu and oh my god, and Billy. I almost forgot his name for a second. I was like, geez, blasphemy. You're like, oh man, I'm actually bummed out because I like those guys. Like, they were really fun. Um, Nev Campbell is like a great final girl. Like, I'm not saying anything new there, but she's like sweet and innocent, but also she's a modern woman. Like, previously, final girls weren't supposed to have any interest in sex, but you can see she's not perfect. She's not, entirely pure. She's pushing the boundaries of what a modern woman's supposed to be. I think everything it does really well. I think the kills are excellent. I like Wes Craven's cameo in it. I just think it's a gold standard for the genre. It's the popular answer, but it's popular for a reason. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm forever grateful to it because it brought slashers back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they didn't really stop making them; they just stopped making money. And then
Yeah.
that one made so much fucking money that the studios were like, "Oh fuck, okay, let's start fucking pumping them out again." And we got a lot of great ones. And it really is all owed to that. If that movie didn't get made, who knows where we'd be now? We got so much great shit from just because of that movie. You know, I'm forever grateful to that movie. I do love it. I mean, it's hard to say anything new on it that, like you said, that hasn't been said, but I'm forever grateful to that fucking movie for that.
It's a real magic trick because first of all, Wes Craven could have he created Freddy Krueger. He could have been like, all right, like but he created a character who's as iconic as Freddy Krueger. And the beauty of this, we haven't really seen it before. You've got a killer that looks the same in every film, but as a different person every time. Like every film is kind of a whodunit, which they hadn't done, I don't think, before, and they haven't really tried to do. And if they have, probably not very well since. It's just, and all the sequels again, like it's a often hot debated topic, but I think for its money, it might have the best sequel ratio of all the franchises. Like they're all pretty good.
Yeah, they're all pretty good.
There's no Scream film that I'm like, oh, I'm skipping this one. I like them all. I think they're all fun. I think the Radio Silence guys have done something fun and interesting with them. I know that 5 was essentially a bit of a reboot and people didn't like that, but I don't know. I think all the films are pretty good. And but that first one just still holds up.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't. There should be a weak link somewhere, but there isn't. It's to me, it's ironclad.
And now one of your killers is an Oscar winner, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you had anything to say on the Ruppert. Sorry.
Well, it's on my list. Should I talk about it now, or should we wait till I get there?
We can wait. It's up to you. Do you just want to?
I'll wait.
Okay.
I'll wait to give my thoughts when we get there.
Okay, no worries at all. I guess
that's why I wasn't saying anything.
Because your ranking, yours is probably going to be higher up the list. Mine's just in an order of decades, so that's why it's so low on my list. But I love Scream. All right, well, we'll jump back to Jimmy then for his number 3.
Well, there's no concern about anybody having mine on their list. I really went. I mean, I've said it twice already, but I went with what means the most to me. And
can I guess what it is?
For number 3?
I want to guess. I'm guaranteeing House of a Thousand Corpses is on your list.
We'll get there.
I love House of a Thousand
Corpses. We'll get there. We're not there yet.
I thought that's what you were about to say. Okay.
No, we'll get there, brother. No, my number 3, and this was tough because I am such a freak for the first 3 movies of this franchise, and now you can start guessing, Rupp. And I really had to fucking. I would like to say that it depends on the day, but even that, it's like I really weighed the first 3 in my mind, and I'm like, they're all so fucking great. Which one do I like the most? And it's funny because when I was a kid, the one I picked was my least favorite of the 3, and now at 36 years old, it's my favorite of the 3. I can arguably say because I don't even know it's the one I've seen the most, but it's the one that for a reason has like stuck with me the most. I think it's the funniest of the 3, and they're all very funny in my mind. And it's definitely the most different of the 3. Well, why am I fucking beating around the bush? Child's Play 3 is my 3rd. I fucking love the first 3. I love all the Chucky movies. Huge Chucky fan. the first one is brilliant, and that, well, you were saying earlier, James, about Never Sleep Again and Crystal Lake Memories. I just watched Doc of Chucky, and it was like heaven for me. It's on Shutter. Another reason to get Shutter.
I
It's
got to
like
check it
seven
out because
hours.
this is a franchise I am not so well versed in. I've seen the first two, so it's really frustrating you chose number three.
Oh,
But that's okay. And I prefer two to one. I think two, like the idea of dealing with the trauma and the fallout of the first one, was such a great idea. It's
yeah.
why I like the second. Now I'm trying to remember her name in the Halloween franchise. I guess it's five. Is it the one where she's dealing with the
Danielle
trauma?
Harris.
Is that the second Danielle Harris one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I
yeah,
like
it's
that one.
Jamie
I think
Lloyd.
I think that's one that people don't like, but I liked it because it was dealing with the repercussions of the previous film. I like it when they do that. It's why I like Rob Zombie's Halloween too. Like I know people don't like that one, but I think it deals with trauma in an interesting way. So I always like when they kind of dive into that. It's why I have a lot of forgiveness for the David Gordon Green trilogy because they do a lot of that sort of stuff as well. But we're getting off track.
You and
Charles,
I
please.
could talk for hours. You and I could talk for hours about this, man.
Yeah,
So,
we're gonna start our
Charles,
own show, Rupp. Sorry, man.
we could, we could. Rupp would fit right in. He's very well schooled on all of this. Um, the third one to me. Okay, so the first one is, I mean, the first one is arguably brilliant because nobody had even thought of this. Well, okay, now I'm fucking going on my own tangents. I just watched Doc of Chucky,
Mhm.
and I mean, it was heaven. It was 7 hours of just like the ins and outs of making all the movies, what went into them. They interviewed most of the cast that would come back for all of them, and I mean, the first one is so fucking great. But we also don't even see Chucky fucking come to life until about half of the movie,
Mm.
which at the time was like, you know, groundbreaking, seeing this fucking doll come to life and talking like me and fucking. I mean, the first couple kills you don't even see him do. You see it from his perspective. Um, the second one, they're not hiding him anymore. Even the marketing, with they, the fucking the rabbit was out of the hat. I mean, they weren't keeping it a secret anymore.
Mm.
Chucky the killer doll is the thing, and this is what you're coming to see. And the second one, like I said, I love them all. The second one, it's not necessarily a rehash of the first one, but it's kind of a little bit more of the same of the first one. And I'm not talking shit because I
Mm.
fucking love both. What makes the
Two
third
is
one
my
so interesting?
favorite.
Which one, too?
Two is my favorite.
Yeah, and at one point, I would agree with you. The third one for me, it's just like it kind of goes off the rails, but it's also kind of grounded. So the documentary really made me appreciate it even more than I thought I already did because, like, so James, you haven't even seen it, so I'll try and give you a spoiler free review on it. But the
Hey, look, it's
character,
my fault. If you spoil stuff, that's on me. Like, it's
no,
not like it's a new movie,
I'm
so.
I'm gonna fucking tread lightly. The character of Andy from the first two comes back in the third one, but he's played by an older actor, and it's however many years later.
He's
And
in military school.
he's in military school because his mom is nuts from the first one. His foster parents are dead from the second one. Nobody wants him. They think he's fucking crazy. He ends up in military school. You know, Without fucking explaining how or why, because I'm not even sure the film does a very good job of it. Chucky comes back, tracks him down, ends up going to this military school, and just fucking like wreaks havoc on this fucking military school. And the some of the kills are really unique. There's one kind of a spoiler here, and again, the documentary really made me fucking realize this. There's a death in the third one. A character dies from a heart attack from seeing Chucky come to life.
Oh, wow.
like like I never even realized the genius of that until I watched the documentary. I'm like, holy fuck, like that is kind of crazy. Like that doesn't happen in any other fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like a character literally sees Chucky like walking and talking and swearing and has a fucking heart attack and dies. And like the great Andrew Robinson from Hellraiser is in it. He's got a great death. Spoilers. Chucky's one-liners are up to the fucking max. Um, I just love it. I mean, there's like so much fucking wackiness in it, and then like it ends at a carnival inexplicably. Like, oh, dude, it's just so fucking much fun. And like, I mean, I find Chucky to be quotable. If you're something a theme here, like my favorite slashers, the killer is very quippy and
Yeah.
funny. Like I like to be able to quote my favorite serial killers, you know?
Yeah, sure.
And Chucky in the third one is like to the max. Like he's just every fucking line is just fucking comedy gold. And like I love everything that came after it. I love Bride, Seed, Curse, the TV show, Cult. I love all of it.
What did you think
But
of the remake?
the remake I don't love. I love the cast. I love the cast. I like some of the things they did. I love Mark Hamill. I wish it wasn't Child's Play. If it wasn't Child's Play, I would have appreciated it more. The
It
fact
was
that
almost Megan before Megan because it was all digital,
yeah,
and I liked that. I actually liked that aspect of it, which I think is why a lot of people didn't like it. But I was like, but no, but like it's Chucky in like the 21st century, and like not the
yeah,
21st century, like 2001, like Jason X. Like it's
yeah,
literally like we have all these devices. It makes sense that this, it makes sense that this could happen, or that it
yeah.
would operate this way. So I really liked all that, but I do understand like your argument of like if it wasn't Chucky, I would have loved it even more. And
There's
then we
great stuff in it. The marketing for it. I was just showing my fiance recently was brilliant. It opened the same day as Toy Story 4, and the marketing for it, they made like 10 posters of each of the toys from Toy Story killed,
Oh my
and
god.
Chucky's you see like Chucky's shadow or his hand, and it was like Woody was like tied up and like on fire, and like Slinky Dog was like stretched all the way out and broken in half. Like they did amazing marketing for it. My issue with it is like Don Mancini is the man behind Chucky, and he was so irate that they were doing this to his property that he said, well, "Yeah, well, I'm gonna make a fucking TV show. How about that?" And
Yeah.
I love the TV show. I just if they had called it Megan and made it a Megan movie, I would have
Mm.
been fine with that. It's just you're taking this fucking property that I love so fucking much and you're changing it to a degree that I'm like for me it's all about the fucking personality of Chucky. Like I love the fucking character. I love Brad Dourif's voice. I love all that shit. I love Mark Hamill, but having him be a fucking robot toy, it's like this isn't Chucky to me. Like you could have called it anything else. You could have called it anything else, named it anything else, but they fucking tried to remake Child's Play, and that's where
Mm.
I had an issue with it. If there was anything else, I would have fucking appreciated more because there is genuinely good stuff in it. It's just to make that Chucky, it bummed me out. It fucking bummed me out. It opened
I
on my birthday
I
too.
just
I
found
remember
some of
going.
these. I just found some of these posters. These are incredible.
It's
These
great,
are
right? Like,
really good. Yeah, I hadn't
yeah,
seen this
and
before. How do you
oh
feel
my
about
god,
that, Rupp? Obviously, with the corruption of Disney characters, what's your thoughts on that? We got Mr. Potato Head with a knife in his head. We've got a piggy bank. We've got Ham smashed with a hammer. That's a great
yep,
gag. That's great.
yep.
Like that's really good.
Love it, but what can you do? Um, I I love the original Child's Play. I love the franchise. I love them all. Just like Jimmy, I love the movie. I don't hate the new movie the way other people do. I'm mostly like it's a meh movie at
Mm.
best. It's very forgettable, but there's good shit in there. What I love about the Child's Play series is the first one does something that no other franchise can really do, because what it's really about is the fear of being a kid and having no one believe you or trust you.
Yeah.
And when you see it as a little kid, you identify with Andy, and no one believes him, and he's telling them all this shit, and that's like a fear for a child. You're going to get in trouble for shit you didn't do. And like you usually see Child's Play at a younger age because it's tied to a toy, so I feel like it hits home for a lot of kids. It hit home for me. I love two because they take the first one, they expand on that concept, and they do a lot of the same stuff, but now it's bigger, and
Mm.
the finale is amazing with the toy factory.
I was gonna say the
Three
conveyor
is
belts. That's the thing I remember most about is the conveyor belts. Yeah.
yeah, and three is messy, but I like it too. There's good shit in there. I like the sleepaway camp. But yeah, I get why Jimmy would like it.
Yeah.
I love it, and like the kills are a little bit more elaborate. They're a little outside the box. How well do you remember it, Rob? Let me ask you. How well do you remember it? The
Oh,
third
very
one.
well, very
Okay,
well.
so I remember watching it like 10 years ago with my friends, and they were comparing me to Whitehurst, the
I don't
nerd,
remember the names.
the nerd,
Okay,
the nerd who
the nerd.
sacrificed himself. They make fun of him the whole fucking movie.
Now that does sound right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I love it. It's not a flattering comparison, but I fucking I love it. I love it.
If it makes you feel better, Jimmy, I used to get compared to Simon from The Inbetweeners, the UK comedy show, because I used to always have my hair gelled up, spiked like that. And my behavior was very similar. So,
You would appreciate that.
yeah.
Which one you are?
I saw an interview with that actress recently, and she's saying she gets it all the time. Like, she's like, I can't go anywhere. Someone's always saying how feisty I am.
That's great. I love the In-Betweeners.
So good. And those movies, both really good as well. Really funny. The second one made me almost throw up in the cinema, not because it was gross. I was laughing so hard, I almost like coughed myself into vomiting when Neil like shits down the water slide and it smacks Will in the face. I just wasn't expecting to see that in the cinemas that morning, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, I literally almost threw up from laughing so hard. Yeah, I love the In-Betweeners.
I need to
Can I
catch
tell
up
you how
on
I saw the second one real quick on a tangent?
Mm.
So I
it.
had seen the first movie because Q wanted to help promote it, so he did like a screening in Manhattan, and like you could take a picture with him, and you could meet him, Joe, and Murr if you went. And that was how I saw the first one. I'd already seen the show, but I saw the first movie that way. That was the first time I met Q. I also met Joe and Murr that night. But when the second one was coming out, Ian Morris, like, and me had tweeted about Bond, and I reached out when the second one was going on if there was a screening. I was like, "Hey man, could I get a ticket?" And he gave me a ticket to a
Nice.
private screening of In-Betweeners 2. And
Get the fuck out.
I went and saw it with my friend. And when I was leaving the theater, who do I see but Brian Johnson?
No
Nice.
way.
And
Very cool.
yeah, and I ended up talking to Brian as like we were walking. It was like in a hotel, and I ended up talking to Brian as we were like leaving. And I wasn't like involved yet, I was
Yeah.
still like a year or two away. But yeah, I always think that's a fun story.
Yeah, that
That's
is cool.
amazing.
Nice one, man. I love In-Betweeners. I gotta go back and watch it again. It's the tough thing about In-Betweeners is it hits really close to home for me. I'm like, we talk about representation on screen and stuff like that. That show nailed it. I'm like, oh my god, that was my high school years. Like, I was exactly what I was, a combination of all of those dudes at some point. Like, I totally get it. So it's fun, but it's tough. Let's jump to your number 3, Rupp. What do you got for me?
I got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original.
The original 19. Okay, this is going to be interesting because I'm going to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre in a moment as well. But hit me with yours.
Okay. I saw the remake before I saw the original.
Me too.
But then
Wow.
after seeing the original, I think it is one of the scariest movies ever made.
Mm-hmm.
It's so effective and powerful. The film feels dirty and grimy and gross.
Mm-hmm.
You feel how hot it is. As far as setting, it's one of the best settings of any horror movie. And I think it does something that there's only a few horror movies that actually do. And I would count House of a Thousand Corpses in this, where it feels like you're inside of a nightmare.
Yeah.
Watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the closest experience I can have to being inside of a nightmare that like you would dream up. And it's horrific throughout. It's nasty, it's gross, it's grimy, it's iconic, it's fucked up, it's weird. It's like it is one of the most effective horror movies, bar none.
And
It's
it's one of the best
uncomfortable to watch.
examples. It's the best one of the best examples of why you don't need to provide a reason or a backstory. You can just like, because we don't know their motivations. You never really know their motivation. Like, kind of, get the dinner table a little bit, but there's no backstory. There's no like huge like tome about where they came from. It's just like they just literally broke down in the wrong place in America. Like that is the story. Like,
Yep. And like it could happen to anybody on a road trip if you're in the wrong spot and your car breaks down, and next thing you know, fucking Leatherface is after you, and the film is mean, like the kid in the wheelchair is not spared. It's brutal. It is a brutal, brutal fucking movie.
oh,
It's a masterpiece. It
that
really
era of
is.
filmmaking not kind to people in wheelchairs. Friday the 13th Part 2. We also see a poor guy in a
Yep.
wheelchair. Maybe get it the
Oh, yeah.
worst because he's about to get laid, and then they're like, "Nah, sorry, we're gonna."
Yeah.
I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. I like most of the installments of the franchise. I think it's a pretty strong franchise as well.
I love
Like
the second one.
it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane that film exists. I love that movie as well. But the first one, yeah, like everything you're saying, like, and the reason it feels so gross, I'm sure you know this, you guys definitely knows, is because it was like they were using, like they were in the heat. There was no air conditioning. They were rotting like animal parts on set and stuff like that. Like I don't think anyone had fun making that film.
No,
No.
the mob paid
It's
for it. Like it's insane.
it's a miserable, grueling experience, and I love the franchise. I think it's fantastic.
Mm. I really dig. I just watched part 3 for the first time last year because it wasn't available here, but it is in the UK. So I got to see Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, Texas Chainsaw It Up.
Oh, that's the fourth one.
That's an insane. 4 is not available anywhere I can see. It's really hard to get. So I might have to import it from the States and see if it's there.
No, that's the fourth one. The fourth one has.
Oh, is Next Generation the fourth one? I'm getting confused.
Yeah.
Okay, so
The
I haven't
third
seen
one
3. I've seen 4.
The third one has Viggo
Three is
Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen.
Oh my god. Okay, well I need to get my hands on that one. The nice one.
That's the New Line one. That's when New Line was trying to fucking get their hands on everything. Like they had just bought Jason. They bought they bought Texas Chainsaw. I don't know what the hell they were trying to fucking accomplish, but
we know.
all these
Jay and Silent Bob meet the monsters. Like
yes, exactly. Yeah, all of it lost money, and I mean, it paid off in the end with Freddy vs. Jason. But
yeah,
actually, it paid off with Chainsaw too, because when they finally released the remake, it ended up being massive. So.
well, you guys have both mentioned the remake. That is my number 3. My slash from the 2000s is Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2003 remake. I know it's a controversial choice. Some people don't like it, but I didn't know the franchise when this came out. Like, I didn't know that filmmakers were allowed to lie. So when it opens with like, this is based on a true story, I had the found footage angle. I was like, oh my god, like this is real, and it felt real. It felt great. Like going back now, like totally not, but it's 15 years old. It feels real. It has one of the most amazing opening sequences where they're driving through. They pick up the hitchhiker, and she just blows her brains out, and it's so unsuspecting and violent and gruesome, and that really sets the tone for the whole flick. Like that's a mean movie. One of my favorite moments, and a moment that totally caught me off guard, is when someone's running through the sheets, like through the laundry, and then Leatherface comes out and just see a leg fly off screen. But the mask, like the Leatherface mask, is so creepy and unsettling. The kills are really brutal. There's all the meat hook stuff where they're hanging. Is it Justin Balfour on the hook, and he's still alive? I want to say it's Justin Balfour. I think it's him. And then you've got the incredible bait and switch of Ali Ermey. Like, oh well, at least this cop, he's not the nicest guy, but he's here to help him out. And these spoilers, he's part of the family. Like it's just.
I think that's the best thing they did with the reboots, with the remakes, is making him a new character. Like he is.
Yeah, I think like the 2000s will be notorious because it was really you never saw more remakes of horror films than the 2000s. Like that's when they really pushed it. But looking back, like that was the introduction to so many franchises for me. And I think for the most part, a lot of them hold up pretty well. And that one in particular, like legitimately scared the crap out of me. Like when I was 15, so violent, was the most brutal film I'd seen at the time. And just really builds on the lore. Like I think it does a good job of honoring what came before, but also brings enough new stuff to where it is kind of its own thing as well. I know it's controversial; a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's one of the better things Michael Bay's done. To be honest, like he produced that.
I agree. Yeah. Oh, he got it made for the budget that he did, and it looks fucking great. Which is funny because the original looks great, and they made it for fucking a fraction of that. But yeah, I love them both. I went to Texas a few years ago, and I went to the gas station from the original, and
Mm.
they are so. It's funny, like you see uh like the house from Breaking Bad, or like the house from, might be Nightmare on Elm Street, like the people buy them and they're like, please don't come take a picture here. The gas station from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they are so all about it. They fucking they have like the truck from the original movie there.
Mm.
Uh they have Gunnar Hansen fucking like a dedication to him on the bench in front of it. Like they do serve barbecue there. They sell horror related merch there. My tattoo artist even made them a t-shirt that they sell that I bought, and it says, the gas station in Bastrop, Texas, and the picture is like legs all hanging from meat hooks and shit. Like they
Nice.
fully embrace that movie, was filmed there for, all 10 minutes or whatever.
That's cool,
Yeah, no,
man.
I love it.
You got to do that. I went to the Nightmare house when I went to the States back in 2017. I think I proposed I got engaged while I was in the States. I proposed to my wife at Universal Studios. But it's at the front of Hogwarts. She's a big Harry Potter fan. So I was like, well,
Oh, fuck yeah.
this makes sense. But yeah, we went to the Nightmare house. We went to Meltdown Comics, which no longer exists. We went to the ArcLight, which no longer exists, and we went to the Nightmare house. So that was kind of our week in LA, which was pretty cool. But
That's all excellent.
yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Meltdown
But
Comics. I missed Meltdown.
yeah, that was cool. Like Nerdist weren't recording, because at the time when the Nerdist
Yeah.
would record there regularly.
Yep.
And it really got me into boosted my comic collection as well, because you guys do dollar back issues. They do dollar back issues. If you go to an Australian comic store, the back issues go up in price. They're like $10. So I was like,
Holy shit.
yeah, it was expensive. It's expensive. I don't collect them anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, Meltdown was great, and I went to Golden Apple as well.
Oh fuck yeah! And that's when Kumail was performing there, like every week for like $10. He wasn't in the MCU yet.
I probably wouldn't have known him at that point, because I think I first became familiar with Kumail either in Silicon Valley, which is I just rewatched the first season on the plane coming back from the UK. It's amazing, still holds up.
Greatness. Yeah.
Or Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, who plays the masseuse.
Sure.
I think that was the moment I'm like, okay, this guy's amazing. I have to see him and everything. And
Yeah.
now, like, anytime I can see stand up of his, I'm just like, it's great. So, and he's coming back. He's doing more stand up now. He's doing like shows all across America. I don't know whether he's going to make it down under. It's pretty far, but if he did, I'd be there in a heartbeat. He's great.
That's fucking excellent. Fucking excellent.
We're getting to the pointy end, man. Jimmy, what is your number 2? Hopefully, I'm seeing this one. Go on, yeah.
Can I talk about the remake for 1 second?
Yeah, go for it.
I love the remake. I'm a defender of it. I'm pro remakes of these slashers, and I think you need to do them so younger audiences can be exposed to them.
I agree.
And I think it's an entryway for a lot of people. It doesn't change the original. They're still there, and you'll build more of a fan base, and you could correct things and fix things and this one is the one that started that trend. After this, you get
House of Wax.
This, you get the Friday the 13th remake, House of Wax. You get Nightmare on Elm Street, for better or worse.
Halloween.
And there's
Halloween, which is a good one. That's
Evil Dead.
One. Yeah.
Yeah, but this Platinum Dunes one is one that really started that movement. And what's the Wes Craven movie with the hillbillies with the radiation?
Hills Have Eyes. That's a great remake. Yeah.
That
Last House on the Left.
That was one of my scariest experiences in a theater the first time I saw The Hills Have Eyes. It was so tense. I couldn't believe it. And horror movies hadn't been making me feel like that. That movie fucking rocks.
Movie, I remember I was working at the video store at the time, and when it came in, I rented it. So it was R-rated. I couldn't get in because the R rating looks a bit different in Australia. It's 18, not 17, and they're pretty strict with it. Yeah. But so I rented it and I brought it home, and at the time I lived on the top floor of a 2-story house, and the bathroom, the toilet, if you will, was maybe like a 4 or 5 foot walk, very close to my bedroom. I had to switch all the lights on after I watched Hills Have Eyes. It was so intense. I was looking over my shoulder the entire time. That and The Descent, those are the ones that really messed with me in the mid-2000s. I'm also pro remake. I've talked about this before on the show, especially when it comes to international horror. I think a really good example is a movie like Speak No Evil, which came out last year. People railed against it because it was so recent. They didn't release Speak No Evil in Australia. We never got the original Dutch version or wherever it's from. But the UK one, at least it like gave me a gateway to it. I loved it. I thought McAvoy was excellent. I thought everyone was excellent, actually. And now it makes me want to go back. And I think it's really important, especially when we have Western audiences. I won't say just Americans, because there's Australians as well, and probably people in the UK who don't dabble with subtitles. If it's a film with subtitles, they won't go and watch it. So I think those remakes are so important because it shines a light on what else there is out there. Like Parasite somehow broke that mold, kind of broke down the barrier better than anything in the last few years. And we did see people go and see an international film. But generally, like unless you're into film or you like watching Asian cinema or European cinema, most people won't take that step. So I like the remake for that reason as well.
Let the Right One In. They remade that.
Yeah.
That's a good remake.
Good remake. Yeah, both really good. There's tons.
As far as Speak No Evil, I didn't love the remake, but I'm grateful for it because I wouldn't have even known the original existed if they didn't remake it, and I fucking love the original.
So I haven't seen the original because it's not available. I've got to import it, but at least now I know what it is. Yeah.
It's on Shudder. Would that be on Shudder for you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I saw it. Yeah, that's how I saw it.
This episode serves as an ad for Shudder as well, so we'll do that.
Dude, I didn't even know it was a remake. I remember Speak No Evil was being marketed at every fucking movie we went to. We go to a lot of movies, and every movie we went to, we saw the fucking preview for it, and we're like, this looks so fucking good. And we're at the movies one night with a buddy, which is rare. It's usually just her and I. And my buddy goes, "Oh, is this Speak No Evil? The original is so fucked up." And I'm like, original? And I was so sick of waiting for this fucking remake, which, again, I didn't even realize it was a remake, because it looks so good. I'm like, I'm just going to watch the fucking original, and, when the remake comes, I'll go see that too. The original blew my fucking mind so hard that the remake didn't even compare for me.
Like, I've heard that. I've heard that from a few people that, like, it's like most remakes, they tend to tone it down, especially if it's an American remake. Like, if you watch Martyrs, like the American remake is tamer. It's hard to make a film more extreme than Martyrs, but I think it does try to execute on a lot of those things. I'm trying to think. There's another one. Old Boy is another example. Spike Lee remade Old Boy, which I don't dislike. I get it because the original goes so extreme. The things that Spike Lee chose to cut, I'm not necessarily against. Like, I like that Josh Brolin did feel a bit of shame at the end. It was like, I can't hang out with her anymore. The original, spoilers, he doesn't feel that way.
Right.
So, yeah. But yeah, so because of that, I do want to go see the original. As soon as I can get my hands on it, I will. So I'm with you there, Rupp. Like, I don't think remake is a dirty word. I think if it's used in the right way, like, it just brings a new audience to the original, which is really good.
And I think all those 2000 horror movies, honestly, did a pretty good job of it. And Child's Play went so radically different it could not even be called Child's Play. I don't think that's really a remake to me. That's more of a reboot with a completely new. We're just taking the title name,
Yeah. It was also weird. I was excited about that one, and I do like that Child's Play. I was excited because they cast Aubrey Plaza, but they just gave her, I think, like, considering what she can do, and it was a different role for her because it was so restrained. But I feel like what she can do, like, I almost would have preferred her to play Chucky. Like, I just would have liked to. You know what I mean? Like, she can bring such insanity and such a great intensity to all of her roles. It was almost kind of like she was cast on name alone and wasn't really like given much to do. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry. I just like.
Well, we're not done, James. I got a question for you.
Go for it.
For you. I can't believe I didn't think of this before we started recording, but now it's all I can think about. I am such a fucking huge fan of Wolf Creek. Is that huge over there?
It was at the time. It definitely was at the time because also we got to piggyback on the success of Saw because the filmmakers were Australian. So Saw was like the big thing for a couple of years. They're like, yeah, they're from Australia. We didn't give them the money to make their movie, so they had to go to America. But now that they're successful, we love them. That was kind of the Saw story. So Wolf Creek at the time was kind of marketed as like the next Saw. That's the way they looked at it. I haven't seen Wolf Creek in a long time. At the time, I kind of found it to be a little bit boring. But I do want to go back and give it another chance. But there's definitely some hometown pride for it. People do like it. I really like the second one because it's just so ballsy.
Me too.
Like the last 15 minutes is like, what are you talking? Like, what do you mean this is how you're ending your film? Like, this is insane. But
yeah, have you seen the series, the TV series?
No, I haven't seen the TV series yet. But he's really good. He's great. I do like him a lot. My Australian horror film of choice is The Loved Ones. I don't know if you've seen that one.
So
it's called
I'm
The
ringing
Loved.
a bell.
Yeah, it's called The Loved Ones. I think it's called the same thing overseas. It's a lot more niche. It's hard to find, but basically, it starts with a girl asking out a guy to prom, which was weird because we don't really do prom in Australia, but I think they called it prom to make it marketable overseas. And he says no because he's already got a girlfriend, and then she ends up abducting him on the night and kind of forces him to have prom at her house, and her dad's in on it, and it gets really weird. Like it starts out as like an abduction slasher type thing, and then goes in really weird places.
It's streaming over here. I'm definitely gonna check that out. That
It's
sounds
it's
so good.
insane. It's really good. I really like that
You
one.
know
And
that one,
then
Rupp?
No, I never heard of that one. I
yeah,
was actually going to ask him if he's ever heard of Body Melt.
I haven't seen Body Melt, but I have heard of it.
I don't know
I've
that one.
I got to get on that. That's a body horror one if I remember correctly. That one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
body horror Australian movie. It's fucking gross.
Yeah. Yeah,
That one.
they don't shy away from it in the box art. Like it looks pretty gross.
Yeah.
And then the most recent Australian one that I really liked was Talk to Me, which I know got a lot of hype, so it kind of got overblown. But
No, I love it.
I
love
thought that
it.
was really well executed. Like Australia was due for a win. We're not super. I don't know. Like, because we're such a sporting nation, there seems to be a lot of focus on funding all the sports stuff, not so much on the arts. But when you give the talent a bit of money, like just a chance, even there's some pretty cool stuff that comes out of here. Wake in Fright's another one. Wake in Fright is a trip if you've ever seen that one.
I don't know any of these.
Never heard of it.
Writing all these down.
So like it's basically a school teacher moves to a rural outback town.
This is old.
Yeah, it's really old. It's weird. Like it might not be your. I actually know. Based on what you told me, it might be your jam. But like, because there's not a lot of violence in it. But basically, by day he's just a teacher, and then by night he keeps getting tricked into getting drunk, and he keeps getting lost and like seeing all these weird like after hours things. Like there's like a kangaroo hunt like in a truck and stuff like that. And he can't escape the town. It's almost like hints of Groundhog Day as well. Yeah, go on.
Is a kangaroo hunt odd for Australians? I would think that happens all the time.
Well, I've got a few in my backyard right now, so I'll have to hunt those later. It's definitely frowned upon these days. Like we do, they are kind of considered pests over here. The way like the rabbits are, like they do breed a lot.
Okay.
They cause a lot of damage to traffic. Like if you're driving on a rural road and you hit a kangaroo, your car will pretty much have to get replaced. Because they're pretty big. They're good eating if you like eating meat, like because they're like our version of deer, basically. Like if you eat deer meat and stuff like that, I'll probably sound like get them right now. Like, oh yeah, let's eat some kangaroos. But
I would eat that.
You can get them.
I would try a kangaroo.
You can get them at every grocery store. It's not weird. Like it's pretty common to find them here. Yeah, it's yeah. But yeah, I don't know how much kangaroo hunting goes on. I'm not aware of it, but it's probably frowned upon. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so consumed with fucking Wolf Creek. Like they released a fucking action figure like years ago, and it's so fucking impossible to find. I'm literally looking up right now. It's so impossible to find. Like no one even has one for sale anywhere.
Oh, we just use them as doorstops here in Australia. There's just so many
I'm
of
sure
them.
you do, yeah. I love that franchise. I remember when the first one came out, I think it opened on Christmas Day here, and I went and saw it in theaters, and I loved it. But again, what's the common denominator here? The guy's telling jokes and killing people, and like for me, that's like heaven. You know what I mean? And I love the sequel. I love the TV series. I hear they're making a third one. I love it. I wish they fucking merchandised it more. Like it feels so under the radar over here, even though like it is a franchise with a fucking television series. But
well, the really funny thing is like, and this seems to be a very common trope with Australians as well, is that he wasn't like a big actor before that film. He presented on Better Homes and Gardens, which is like a lifestyle program. Like he was just like he was a presenter on that. We had the same thing happen. I don't know if you guys saw that movie Sting that came out last year about the killer spider. There's like a girl. Yeah, so the crazy old woman who keeps losing her mind, it was played by an actress called Noni Hazelhurst. She was on a show when I was a child called Play School, and it still runs to this day, and it's a toddler's TV show. It's an educational show. Like, we just had this weird habit of taking the names and faces that we trust and putting them in weird horror films. So it would be like if Mr. Rogers was in a horror film, like in a slasher.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is fucking amazing.
I'm sure once he's public domain, someone will do it.
Yeah,
It's a
Mr.
No
Rogers'
doubt.
Blood and Honey.
it's a terrifying day in the neighborhood.
Well, they made that one for Hulu recently. What was it, Uncle Crockett or whatever? That was kind of like that. That was fucking
I
awesome.
didn't see that.
I
Oh,
haven't
it's
heard of that
awesome.
one, but
It's awesome. It's basically Mr. Rogers, but he's black and he's coming out of the TV and killing kids' parents and shit with and the effects are great. It's
okay.
it's
Ah,
it's awesome. It's
That
really
sounds
fucking
cool. That
awesome.
actually does sound pretty cool. Yeah.
It is. It's awesome. Uncle Crockett. Yeah, on Hulu. Check that shit out.
But that means it's probably on Disney Plus because we don't have Hulu, so they just dump all the Hulu content on Disney Plus over
Yeah.
here. So we get
It's on
really,
there. Yeah.
yeah.
Check it out, man. Check it out. You want me to do my number two?
Yeah, let's see your number two.
So we've been dancing around him the whole fucking time. Rub knows who I'm referring to.
yeah.
My man, my man. We've been dancing around him the whole fucking time. It's it. This is definitely a fucking pick the day, and my answer could change.
Mm,
But I really think I want to be true to myself while also recognizing what the better film is. So my favorite of the Freddy movies is Freddy's Dead, but the best of the Freddy movies is Nightmare 3. Nightmare on Elm
yes.
Street 3 is such a fucking masterpiece. The fucking that for me, like, I'm a product of my generation. It is what it is. I wasn't around in 84. I didn't see Nightmare on Elm Street in the theater. I didn't have that experience where I couldn't sleep after. So I also wasn't around when Freddy started telling jokes and became a
Mm,
fucking punchline. I came in at Freddy's Dead when the motherfucker was playing video games. So I like my Freddy good and fucking jokey. And when did he start fucking telling jokes? Like good jokes? The fucking third one.
Dream
But that's
Warriors.
also the fucking kills. We're not watching
Yes.
Johnny Depp get sucked into his bed anymore. We're not watching the fucking gym teacher get fucking his ass slapped with a towel. We're fucking watching a fucking kid get his goddamn fucking veins cut out of him and turn into a
Yeah.
fucking walking marionette. We're watching a fucking chick obsessed with television get her fucking face smashed into a TV that has Freddy's head out coming out of the top of it with the fucking antenna sticking out.
Mm,
His lines in that film are so fucking good. The fucking Freddy in a suit cutting the chick's fucking mom's head off and
yeah.
saying, I said, where's the fucking bourbon? Like that movie is so fucking great. The heroin fingers,
Yeah.
I mean, there is like so much greatness in that. The Freddy fucking worm,
Mm,
fucking chomping down on Patricia Arquette. There is so much fucking greatness in that movie. And like as a kid, I loved it, but I liked four more because I thought there were more kills and I thought it was more creative. And having rewatched them all kind of recently, I realized four kind of sucks. And like I still love it, but four kind of sucks. And like it's crazy. Like
is that the one
after
where the third act is just the same thing on repeat over and over again, or is that five?
yeah, that's four.
Because that's the one where they ran out of money. Because I remember if you've
Yeah,
watched the Never Sleep Again documentary, they're like, yeah, we ran
yeah,
out of money, so we just did.
yeah,
Well, God, well, dreams repeat sometimes, so we're gonna do that.
yeah.
Like,
And it's interesting too when you look at like who started directing them. Like so Chuck Russell did the third one, who went on to do the Blob remake, which is incredible. Went on to do the Mask, with Jim Carrey.
mm,
The fourth one was fucking Rennie Holland.
yeah, right.
He went on to do
Yep.
fucking Die Hard 2, and now he's remaking The Strangers, and like he did Cliffhanger, and like it's crazy those movies were a stepping stone for guys to go on to huge big budget movies. But
Mm,
that third one is so fucking perfect. It is so fucking great. And like there's no rhyme or reason to like who lives and who dies. Like there's multiple survivors from it. But then they also kill off Nancy from the first one. They kill off her fucking father. Wes Craven even came back and produced it, which he never did
mm.
again until he made New Nightmare. You know what I mean? He was so disenfranchised with it. But even he saw the greatness in that third one. I mean, that movie is so fucking great. I do like the fourth one does immediately take out the survivors from three, but I think it's kind of clever that like there's a final girl, but there's a couple other survivors too. Like you don't know who's gonna make it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they kind of turn everything on its fucking head, and they really They just upped everything. They fucking upped everything. It's so fucking amazing. Like
I just rewatched it and a few of them back in January. In fact, I think I rewatched all of them. And this time round, I prefer Nancy in 3 as well, because I originally was like, I never really got the love for Nancy in the first one. I understand like that she kind of fits the mold, but I didn't think she really did anything particularly interesting. And rewatching, I still kind of stand by like she's fine. Like she's not bad in it, but I don't think she has a lot to do in that movie, despite being the final girl. But in 3, they really build up her lore. They give her like she grew, like she took the experiences and became this new person, and kind of the same way that we would see Nev Campbell do in Scream 3 as well, where she kind of takes her experience and builds from it. And they kind of kept that story going, and she became this wonderful like she's the support for this new gang. She's like, I'm like the expert now. I can kind of take you through this and help you. I really liked what they did with her, and yeah, the kills, as you mentioned, like that puppet one is probably the most famous one. But how they managed to achieve that in the 80s, I still don't know. It's so incredibly well done.
And Dick Cavett making a cameo. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much fucking greatness in it. Like, oh my god, I still get chills. Like okay, so a quick little fucking backstory you didn't ask for. My first foray into Freddy was Freddy's Dead, which is
Yep.
why I love that one so much. And if you remember the end of Freddy's Dead, through the credits, it's like a greatest hits of Freddy. And so I remember seeing Freddy's Dead and thinking like this is the greatest thing ever. And then watching the credits, and I'm like, I need to see all of this. Like I need to fucking and like what stuck out was the marionette and the fucking the TV and fucking oh what a rush and fucking you know Freddy with the suit, chasing her around the hallway of the house, like, and that all comes from that fucking movie. Like, there's some really cool stuff in 4. I think there's some amazing stuff in 5, but 3 is like it's the whole package. And the acting is fucking great. Like you have Patricia Arquette, you have
Yeah.
fucking Lauren Fishburne, you
Yeah.
have fucking Heather Langenkamp, who at this point, what like you said, now she has something to do. She's not a fucking child actress anymore. Like she kind of knows the fuck she's doing. They bring fucking John Saxon back. You got fucking the Bill Maher lookalike from Body Double. I mean, this is no fucking. These people know what the fuck they're doing. Like they really sought out to make a good fucking movie, and they did it. They
Yeah.
did it, and it led to all the fucking sequels, which I think are fun, but I don't think anything is as fun as that third one. I think the third one's incredible.
Yeah, and in a time where they weren't made, where kind of sequels were kind of sniffed at, like people turned their nose up at them. People always like, until I would say honestly, until maybe The Dark Knight, people are like, sequels. Like, every now and then you get a Godfather too, but most of the time sequels suck. But I think like horror, and it makes sense because people always turn their nose up at horror as well. But specifically, something like Dream Warriors goes to show that, like, no, give someone the chance to tell the story they want to tell. Give them that creative freedom, and you get a fantastic product. And Dream Warriors is awesome. It's so, and you get the Dokken song as well. Like throw that in.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like Rupp, you really wanted to say something, and I interrupted.
Yeah.
They absolutely love Dream Warriors. I rented it on VHS as a kid, like for at a slumber party we were having. And like I remember seeing it with my friends and like it making such an impact. I think that's the movie where they figured out what Freddy Krueger is and how to make a Freddy Krueger movie. Like the first one is like it's Wes Craven and he's taking it seriously, but there's not that much humor really. It's like he's trying to make a scary movie. The second one, they're like, we don't have a clue what this is. It's a gay body horror movie. It's weird. And I don't mean gay in like, the 90s gay is bad way. I mean gay is in like
No,
homosexual.
like it's literally, yeah.
Yeah.
Great documentary
And
about that too.
Yeah. And the third one, they're like, okay, these are going to be special effects driven. There's going to be quips, and they figure out the lore. We get the backstory. James doesn't know about Freddy's dad, but um, but
It's
we
a
get
TSD
everything.
reference. Fuck you.
Yeah, we get
Fuck you.
we get everything about Freddy Krueger that we know going forward. And I think that's when he becomes an icon and he becomes an iconic character, and everything is solidified in that movie. It is perfect. It's the tops of the franchise. It's amazing. It's an achievement.
And that's when Freddy becomes, like he becomes a pop culture icon. Like that's when I think about, is it Jason Takes Manhattan where Jason came up on the Arsenio Hall show? Like he just showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
start seeing these villains like just in everyday culture, like just on TV, like they're on cereal boxes, they're on, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On T-shirts. And it starts, I think it has to start with Freddy, like because he becomes this personality. He hosted his own show, like he had I can't remember what the TV show's called. I'm sure you guys know
Freddy's
what it is.
Nightmares.
Yeah. Like he was like almost like a Tales of the Crypt type host, and like
Exactly.
he was doing Joe Bob when Joe Bob was doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yep. 1000%. I love it. I fucking love it.
It's a great flick.
I have this fucking Freddy's Dead tattoo here.
Nice.
It's from the video game when he fucking kills Breckin Meyer. I fucking Freddy is my guy. Through and through, 100%. Like I am Team Freddy all the way. I remember going to see Freddy versus Jason, and I knew which side I was on, and I think that movie really is the foundation for all of it. I mean, Robert Englund started getting top billing in those fucking movies after that because they actually letting him do something. Like it's just amazing, and it all begins with it.
Did we talk about Rupp last time you were on? Did we talk about the Robert Englund Star Wars story? Was it you were telling about?
No, that wasn't me.
Hey, I don't know if you might know this, Jimmy, but one of my favorite Robert Englund stories is that in 1976, or when George Lucas was developing Star Wars, Robert Englund auditioned for Luke Skywalker. Like he went in and auditioned for Luke Skywalker, and he didn't get it. And he was bombing around Hollywood, and he was hanging out with his friend Mark Hamill, and was like, "Hey, there's this Star Wars picture going. I didn't get it, but maybe you'll be a good fit for it." And based on the recommendation from Robert Englund, Mark Hamill went and auditioned for Luke Skywalker.
No shit.
Yeah. Wow. That's one of my favorite Robert Englund stories. It ends up being more of a Mark Hamill story, but like they were buddies. They'd known each other on like I guess like the theater circuit or something. And he was like, "You should go check it out." Mark Hamill told that story, I think, on one of the very first Fat Man on Batman episodes. And then if you watch the Robert Englund documentary Nightmares in Red, White, and Blue, he repeats the story as well. So
I don't even know that documentary. What's it called? Nightmares.
I think it's called Nightmares in Red, White, and Blue. I got it on Blu-ray. Let me have a look.
I found it. Yep, I found it.
It's not super long. It's probably like 90 minutes, maybe just shy of 2 hours. So it does it's one of those ones where it's kind of a very brief retrospective, but it's pretty entertaining. And like he's telling the stories. Like it's just him telling stories of his life and stuff. It's pretty cool.
I'll take it anyway, which way I can get it. 9 hours, 90 minutes.
There's been a real like push for like horror docs in the last 10 years. Like I know like Crystal Lake Memories and Never Sleep Again kind of predate that. But I think like within Search of Darkness and stuff, we're seeing heaps of them. There's the Freddy one. Sorry, the Chucky one you mentioned. There's a RoboCop one called RoboDoc, which I haven't seen, but I really want to see. There's a ton out there. There's just one about It recently, about the 90s version of It. There's a big doc about that. Yeah. It's called like it wasn't called Welcome to Derry because that's the TV show coming up, but there was like another It documentary. I think it's about the 90s one. So,
how do I not know about this? That's fucking crazy.
Because I went to a store that sells physical media. I could just look at spines all day. That's what I was doing. Like, that's the problem with online. You go streaming. You're like, after all, like, I can't keep looking at this. But when you're in a store, you'll be like, oh, let me look at all the cool spines.
I agree. I love it.
What's your number 2, Rob?
My number 2 is kind of similar to James's number 2. My number 2 is Friday the 13th Part 3. It's my favorite Friday the 13th movie.
It's so good.
For much of the same reason that Jimmy likes the Dream Warriors, that's why I like Friday the 13th Part 3. It's the one where they've established the formula. There's a little cheese, there's a little sleaze, and Jason becomes Jason. He doesn't have a bag on his head. He finds the mask, and he becomes the iconic character that we know Jason to be. And it's in that one. I like the final girl in it, too. She's unique for that franchise, because typically most of them are blondes, and she's a brunette, which is weird, too. He gets... They do away with Jason in a pretty clever way with the hanging. The fake 3D, which, now when you're watching it, there's no 3D. So it's just like an eye popping at the screen. I still enjoy that. I like that it's not like good. Like 6, like Jason Friday the 13th Part 6. I always forget the subtitles. But
Jason Lives, I think that's the one.
Jason Lives, right? Yeah, it's like that's a good movie. Like it's well made, it's competent. I like my Jason movies to be like a little bad and like a little
Hmm.
sleazy. And I love that. Like 5 is a little too bad and a little too sleazy, but I still like it. This one has the perfect balance for me, and he's iconic in it. I think it's great. I like the final girl a lot. It's weird that they have her raped by Jason, which like you will never hear mentioned or seen again in a movie.
Wait, does
It's
that happen?
implied that it's implied that she had been raped by Jason
Oh yes,
earlier
yes,
in the
yes, yes,
movie.
yes. Sorry, I always forget. It's like how I always forget about that plot in Kill Bill. The film is so enjoyable and good, you forget that there's actually a really horrible crime in the middle of it all. In a film filled
Yeah,
with horrible crimes, a really horrible crime. Um,
yeah. And like it's weird to think of Jason that way. Like it's
yeah,
like somehow it's more evil than like all of his killings, you know?
yeah,
It's like it's a weird line that's crossed and then it's glossed over. It's not even mentioned. It doesn't even drive her. It's just thrown in there. But I still like that character. And if I'm correct, that movie has a male character who's there looking for his sister from the first movie or the second movie,
yes,
even.
yep.
I haven't seen it in a bit, but
Something that they would adapt
I
in the remake, and I'd forgotten about that. The remake literally draws from every flick because you get Mother Jason, you get Pamela Voorhees, you get Baghead Jason, you get the discovery of the hockey mask. I'd forgotten about the missing sister plot line. You're right.
yeah, it definitely yeah, you're right. It does take from that. Because the remake, I remember seeing it opening night, and like it's like a 30-minute cold open to the
Yeah,
movie, like
yeah.
before the credits roll. It's like you watch like almost like 2 Jason movies condensed, and then the credits happen, and you're like, oh shit.
And they give
And
you
that,
everything. You get origins, you get brutal
yep,
kills, and you get naked women. Like everything is covered in that cold open. Everything you want from a Jason film, and I think Jason really set the tone for those expectations. Like those are the vilest ones. They've got the most violence, the most nudity, and yet in a 30-minute short film before the movie begins, you get all of it.
yeah. I absolutely I love the remake too. I think it's actually one of the better of those horror remakes. But 3 for me is the absolute perfect Friday the 13th
Hmm.
movie. I don't think it was ever done quite to my tastes again. Other ones may be better on technical levels, but this one is the absolute perfect amount of everything for me.
It also has like that great, in quotes, great plot line where to give you like kill fake outs, you've got Shelley, the makeup effects guy, just
Ah,
like just to do fake outs, and you got the weird plot with the bikers, which I really love, and like they only find them because he accidentally knocks their bikes over. Oh man, I
love
love
it.
Friday 13th Part 3. That was, I don't know what my favorite of the franchise is anymore. That was it for a long, long time. I don't know if it still is, but I also couldn't tell you what I like more than that one. That one's really good.
Oh,
Um,
it's amazing.
you've got is it the crossbow? You mentioned the eyeball at the crossbow, and you can see the string the whole time, like as the arrow flies across. Ah, man, it's great. It's really good.
Jimmy,
That's a
is
great
that the
choice.
I'm trying to remember. That's not the one with the guy from Juana Man, right? Which one is he in?
That's
Is he in
5.
4?
That's
That's 5,
5.
okay.
Yeah, that's
That's
enchiladas.
enchiladas. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, alright.
Miguel A. Nunez Jr. I believe he's also in Return of the Living Dead.
That sounds right. That sounds about right. Yeah. Friday the 13th has a really complicated relationship with fat people. Sometimes they get to be the hero, and sometimes they get to be killed crushing some sort of food, which happens more than once in the franchise. You've got the girl with the banana, you got the dude with the candy bar in number 5. Very
Oh yeah.
complicated relationship.
Oh yeah.
Uh, man, that franchise is the best.
I need
Love
to
it.
rewatch the remake. I saw the remake in the theater and I didn't like it, and I
Okay.
I, I think I would love it now.
It
I think I
also
would have the
has
best time with
like
it.
probably the most gratuitous sex scene of the franchise.
Oh, it's so no, not the most gratuitous. The most gratuitous is in 5, where, like, they shoot the girl and she's, like, on the tower
Oh
of the wood.
yes,
Oh
yes,
It's just
yeah.
okay.
like yeah, that's, like, the best, but that had that one, the remake, has the scene where it's the girl and her tits are out, and the guy's going, "Your tits are stupendous.
Yeah,
Your
and he
tits are
says,
stupendous."
doesn't he say like optimal nipple placement? Isn't that?
Yes, yes. You have optimal nipple placement. Your tits are stupendous. Oh, I fucking love it.
Like
The remake is good.
that dude, like I just feel like they just saw a photo of him. Is like no one looks like more of a jerk than this guy. Like it's Travis Van Brakel, I want to say. I may be getting his last name wrong. Like he looks like the epitome of like Ivy League douchebag. Like you would see him in any decade where it's snobs versus slobs. He's playing the snob. You can just tell. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
Travis Von Winkle. You're right.
there you go. Winkle. There you go. I was close. Oh, Brakel, I think is a different horror guy. But anyway, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, you got to. So you haven't seen it since it was released, Jimmy?
Since the theater, yeah, and I
It's
own it. I own it. And I
it's worth the go back. I know there was a lot of pushback. People didn't like the caverns, but I remember watching the documentary. Like, look, Jason just appears and disappears. Yeah, we can say it's magic, but we like having a practical way of how he gets around Crystal Lake. The Crystal Lake kill is the actual lake kill is great, where you see the knife go through the pier and into her head and pulls her up. Again, just for a gratuitous boob shot. They're like, look, we found a chance to show her boobs one more time, so we did it that way.
I might watch it tonight now. I think I'm sold.
It's pretty fun. Oh man, that's a great flick. I do not have a Jason flick. That would have been amazing if I brought a Jason flick to number 2 as well, or a major guy. But I do have another camp horror film. This is from the 2010s. This one's lesser known, but I think people need to check it out. It also doesn't get a lot of love because it's a PG-13, so it's not particularly violent. But just like Cabin in the Woods, it is kind of satirizing the genre. And it's a flick called The Final Girls. I don't know if you guys have seen this one.
Oh, you sure that's not rated R?
I don't think like in Australia it's an M, which is like the equivalent of like Die Hard would also be an L. Well, our ratings are different, but it's an M, which is pretty low tier for us.
Yeah, I think it's rated R over here. It's fucking excellent.
Final Girls is the one where they go into the horror movie.
Yes, the meta one.
Yeah, that one's really fun
with Marlon Ackerman and Tisa Farmiga, who was in American Horror Story, and she's in The Nun and all that sort of stuff.
Betty Davis eyes, baby.
The only horror film I can think of in recent years that like makes me cry at the end.
Yeah,
like, it's so. Yeah. It's funny. Too. Like the killer is. I think the killer's called Billy, if I remember. Like he's almost not even relevant to the plot because it's literally just deconstructing the tropes. But yeah, so this girl played by Tisa Farmiga is the daughter of a famous 80s slasher scream queen who dies in a car accident, and then on the anniversary of her death, they play. Which also I think falls on the anniversary of the release of the film. They do like a kind of celebration screening. The theater starts to burn down and they escape into the screen and get trapped in the movie. Like what a great premise for a horror flick. Adam Devine is in it, and it was kind of before he was Adam Devine. It's one of his earlier roles and stuff like that. And you get to see like the modern audience engage with the 80s characters and like how dismissive they are. Like there's the girl called Tina. My wife's name is Tina, and she's always hated it because Tina is always a stripper or a hooker or a whore, like in any movies. And the girl in Final Girls is Tina, and she's the one doing like the lap dance and stuff. It's wonderful, man. Like it's made with such love for the genre. The only disappointment about that film is they set up a great sequel, and I don't think they ever intended to do a sequel. But you're like, oh my god, like they're gonna do Final Girls in a Hospital? Like, yes, like just like with Halloween, show me that. And we never, of course, got the sequel. But I love it. I think it's so clever and funny and like emotionally driven. And it has a couple of good scares in as well. It's a great flick.
I remember seeing it.
I'm glad you guys have seen it because most people haven't.
I love it. I remember seeing it and being shocked that I was crying at the end. Like where is this coming from? And I literally I put that song on my playlist and I can't hear it and not think of that movie.
Yeah.
Like that song is forever linked to that movie for me.
Yeah, it's one of the few horror films my wife has seen because she's not big on horror. But like every Halloween, I'm like, let me just curate a playlist for you. We'll just do a couple of flicks, and I showed her that one, and it was not long after our daughter had been born, so that flick really hit her because like she was a mum, and there's a story literally about mothers and daughters, like which is.
Oh, yeah.
I love it when they do that in horror, when you kind of get to see like Train to Busan is another one where you get to see like a father-daughter relationship. That one destroyed me as well.
Yeah, I know.
I love it when they like. I think people like kind of we talked about horror being dismissed a lot, and people look at it because they're like, "Well, it's just blood and guts. Like, you don't need to have particularly good performers or particularly good high budget or anything." But horror like proves time and time again that it is tapping into those real senses. Like, no other film has the same job to deliver. Like no other genre like is expected, because if you go into a comedy and you don't laugh a lot, you can still have fun with it. If you go into an action film and the explosions aren't big enough, you can still talk about it. And if you come out of a horror film and you weren't scared, oh my god, people talk about it. Like they tear it to shreds. Like horror has that journey. It's not treated fairly by critics or by the Academy or anything like that. Very rarely does it get its its roses. So when a film like this can do all that, but then also do what the other movies can do, I'm like, what a magic trick! Like, well done. Like, this is great.
Yeah. Yep.
Um,
It's fucking excellent.
Yeah,
It's a comedy.
I
It's
think the
great.
movie I think the movie is super enjoyable. It's one of those ones I threw it on not really expecting much.
mm,
And then you're watching it, and it's the rare movie where it's like really going. You're like, I can't believe how good this is.
mm.
Yeah.
You think a movie called The Final Girls is going to be like, kind of your standard thing. And you're just like, wow, this is really, really good. And it hits an emotional note at the end that you're not expecting. And my biggest problem is that there's no sequel because
Yeah.
the end is like you can't help but fall in love with that movie and those characters. And then the second one starts, and you're like, I need this now.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite gags, and you're just saying that how funny it is, Jimmy. One of my favorite gags on Flick is how they trip over the opening credits. Like he just like they fall over the
Yeah.
letters. Like what a great meta joke. Like because we've seen like people get trapped in movies in cinema before, but like just really leaning into it. How like they keep really like, all right, we got 90 minutes. We'll just run this one through. And we'll come back in 90 minutes and we'll start again. Like I just love how observant it is of like it being a movie. Yeah, I adore it. I think it's so well done. I don't think anyone talks about this movie enough. I think it deserves to
No.
be. It's so good, and whilst
That's
it's
why
not
there's no
as
sequel.
violent as something like Cabin in the Woods, I think it really does have that love for the genre.
Agreed. That's why there's no sequel
Yeah.
because enough people haven't fucking seen it.
Well, that's
Enough
yeah.
people don't talk about it enough. I only found out about it because somebody from it could have been Adam Devine, it could have been Middleditch, could have been Ackerman. Somebody was on a podcast.
Oh, I forgot Middleditch was in it. Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
I always think he's in Cabin in the Woods, but it's just a dude that looks like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody was on, I think it was Comedy Bang Bang of all things, promoting it. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, that sounds pretty good. And then I don't even think it got a theatrical release around me. I mean, it did get a theatrical release, but I don't think near me. And then it came out on Netflix DVD. It came out on DVD, and I got it from Netflix DVD. And like you guys said, low expectations because I didn't know what to expect, and it blew my fucking mind.
Yeah.
It still sticks with me. I
Yeah.
still think about it a lot. Yeah, it's great. It's a
Do you know
fucking
what's
great film.
insane is we've been talking for almost 2 hours, maybe almost 2.5 hours. We haven't repeated a film. We've all got different movies. I don't know if you guys conferred beforehand,
Yeah.
but we haven't crossed
No.
over once.
Nope.
And I've jinxed us because now we're going to the top pick. So-
Well, Rupp already knows mine. I mean, he's already fucking blown the lid
Yeah.
off of mine. I mean, he
well, and
knows
I
me
know
well
we know
enough to
Rups
know.
because I ruined that before. So
Yeah, it's okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, let's fuck it. Let's get to it. My number one. I don't really know if it's considered a slasher, but
oh, that's
it's
right.
one of my favorites of all time. I saw it opening night in the theater. I was it was interesting because like when it got announced that it was being made, there was all this fucking hype surrounding it, and then Universal, because Universal was the one releasing it, they saw the final cut of the film, shit their pants, and said we're not putting this out, and they locked it in a fucking vault, hoping nobody would ever see it, and
Okay,
then
I know what it is. Yep.
Lionsgate came along and bought it, and I remember going to see the Willard remake with Crispin Glover, and they fucking showed the trailer at Willard.
Sorry,
And
side note, I love that remake. That Willard remake with
it's
Christopher was
great.
so good.
Rules.
Arlie Ermy again, yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucking excellent. And I remember the trailer had been online for fucking months and months, maybe even years at this point, because the trailer got made because the movie was supposed to come out, and then the movie didn't come out. So this trailer was already out there. Well, then Lionsgate quietly bought it, and Lionsgate wasn't Lionsgate of today. They were still sort of independent. They were putting out Saw and fucking Frailty and other fucking like kind of low budget horror movies.
A
And
stamp of quality for anyone who wanted to go somewhere really dark. Like Lionsgate were responsible for some of the nastiest stuff.
they were, yeah. Now they're almost as big as Paramount, but at the time they were still sort of independent. And I remember going to see Willard and seeing the fucking trailer for this, and I'm like, holy shit, it's actually coming out. And then I didn't see any commercials for it. I remember fucking opening the newspaper on the day it came out and seeing it in the fucking newspaper that it was opening that day. And I said to my friends, "We gotta go see this tonight." House of a Thousand Fucking Corpses.
Yes.
It changed my everything. I mean, I was already a fucking diehard Rob Zombie fan. I'll forever be a Rob Zombie apologist and defender. But my God, that movie fucking changed my life. I mean, I literally I became so consumed with Captain Spaulding after that. I mean, I've got him tattooed here. I fucking,
Nice.
I am so, I think I've got every piece of fucking merchandise they've made of him. Um, he's like my favorite horror character of all time. Like I fucking, that movie, and not for nothing, but everybody in it is great. I mean, Walton
Yeah.
Goggins was in it before he became Walton Goggins.
Rainn
Um,
Wilson.
Rainn Wilson, Chris Hardwick,
Yeah.
Tom Tolles, um,
Yes.
Bill
Oh, he's
Moseley.
so good at Bill Moseley. I
Bill Moseley, incredible.
I love Bill Moseley.
Karen
I think
Black.
his work in Rejects is slightly better, but I love Bill Moseley. Like he's
Yeah,
one of my top favorite actors of all time.
don't get me started on Rejects because it's for me. It's like it's almost again. It's almost like which one do I like more? Depends on the fucking day.
Yeah.
I go with Corpses because Corpses walked so Rejects could run. But I saw Rejects in the theater like 9 times. Like I
Yeah.
just kept fucking going over and over again. Like I could not get enough of it. I saw that opening night and I cried at the end because I'm like, they fucking killed my boys. Like I have such a fucking love for those
Until,
movies.
you know.
I know, and they're two very different movies too. But
Mm.
as far as actual slashers, like Corpses definitely falls more into that category, and it's also like you're kind of watching Rob Zombie like learn how to make a movie
Yeah,
because
yeah.
he had directed videos before that, but he never made a movie, obviously. And there's so much like music video shit in the movie, like
Mm.
the opening credits, like he literally just cobbled together like shit that he thought was cool for like dentistry work and like for getting their teeth clean and shit. And then like throughout the film, like there's all this like random like grainy footage of shit and like color manipulation and like almost like cuts to things that have no relevance to the film. Like it's just so and it's so fucking dark. I don't think you see daylight until like the end of the movie. No, that's not true. There is some daylight in it, and he kills fucking Private Ryan in the daylight and Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just fucking oh my god. Like the creation of that character to me is everything. Like
Yeah.
that is my I love Art the Clown. I love Pennywise. I'm a fucking juggalo, obviously. I've got a fucking clown fetish. But when it really comes down to is Spalding's my number one. I mean
Mm.
that I'll never forget being in that fucking theater and that opening scene, the dialogue, Michael J. Pollard, this is a fucking seasoned actor who was in Scrooged and Bonnie and Clyde, and he's engaging with a fucking 70-year-old man in clown makeup screaming "fuck your grandma," and I'm just like, I'm sitting there like holy fuck, like this is changing my fucking everything I
Mm.
think and feel about everything. Like I mean, I've got all the T-shirts he wore in that movie. Like, I am such a freak for that
Mm.
fucking movie and that character, and everything else about it is great too. I mean, I feel like I'm shortchanging it because of how much I love Spalding, but Spalding for me, his look, his delivery, everything about that fucking character to me is just it's my favorite thing in horror ever. And I fucking grew up a Freddy freak, a Leprechaun freak, a Chucky freak, and Rob Zombie found a way to fucking put all those guys second
Yeah.
with the creation of that character for me, and it all comes down to that movie. I mean, I just I can't jerk off to that movie hot enough. You know what I mean? Like fucking I love it so much. I love it so fucking much.
It's I feel like one of my most overused phrases on the podcast is magic trick, but this film is another example of that. Like, Zombie's a guy like Tarantino who's like, I want to just pay so much love and respect to what came before. Like, and that's why you get someone like Sid Haig, who had been in just like, you know, titty movies, basically. Like he was just in all the old, like the Big Birdcage and stuff like that. The blaxploitation films. Is he in Coffee? No, he's in Foxy Brown, I think.
I think he's in both.
Oh, I love. By the way, Coffee. I could do an hour and a half on Coffee. I love Coffee.
And then Tarantino then put him in Jackie Brown.
Yeah, exactly. So you see that love of everything that came before. Like we were talking about how dirty and grimy like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre feels. This film feels like that as well. Like there's a love for Texas Chainsaw in here.
Yeah.
I love that Zombie isn't afraid to expose his inner redneck. Like redneck is such a, is often seen as such a derogatory term, but this film like has so many like legions of fans who probably wouldn't identify with that term, but it is just so like white trash. And every film he does, like you watch anything like the opening of 31 is so white trash. Like I'm also a zombie apologist. Like he hasn't made a film that I don't enjoy. There are definitely some I rank higher than others.
Yes, agreed.
But it is kind of its own mini masterpiece, and it does feel like a bunch of weird films kind of etched together. I know what you mean. The transitions which he used in that film, he would then ape for the rest of his career. Like you'd see it really in Devil's Rejects, but even in like 31, it's like, what's that? Do you just want to see some snapshots of a happy family? Like all those horrible things going on? Like, let's do that. Let's put some like sweet country music on. Like, I think Corpses is a great film. I didn't appreciate it the first time I saw it. I was like 15, got it from the video store. And we're like, even the guy's name is Zombie. It's going to be amazing. And we got to the end and we're like, hey, there were no zombies in that film. What happened? And just not realizing what he was trying to do. And the difference, obviously Mother Firefly is a really important character as well, but the three main protagonists, you've got Otis, you've got Captain Spaulding, and you've got Baby. They could not be more different. Like they're so, like for every quip, it's funny. Like you're talking about how like you love all the quippy characters, and I think I'm the opposite. She's like, man, Freddy, and I was like, Jason. Like and like you're talking about like how like loud everyone is. And I was like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and this again. I like Otis, who's a man of few words. And when he does their self-righteous, like biblical speeches about how he is Satan himself. And he's like, it's so funny, but they're so different. Like they just work so well together. Like what a great pairing. Or I don't know what you call it. A thruppling, I guess. Like getting the three of them in there. Like my favorite stuff is in Devil's Rejects, the motel room stuff where they're just bickering the whole time. And then my favorite scene, I think that Rob Zombie's ever directed, is Otis getting the guns with the two country singers. Like that scene to me is...
Look at you now, hero. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what after that? Well, there ain't no after that. After that, there is no more. Like... What a great...
Otis is fucking great for sure.
Yeah. And that scene, is it him? At the end, it is at the end of Corpses. Otis, Captain Spaulding picks her up. It's like it's okay now, and then Otis comes out of the back seat with the knife.
Back seat.
Oh my god, what a great moment! And him with the corpse paint, like in the red robes and like the ghost makeup. Oh man,
my favorite Otis is the hillbilly Otis in the first one. With the long, nasty hair, the crazy pasty white skin, the fucking the Confederate flag shirt and hat and the ripped white beater. Before we let Rupp speak, one more thing.
We're both aware that Rupp's trying to get in, and we're like, no.
I know. Nobody ever fucking brings this up, so I want to just fucking point it out. One of my favorite things from that movie, it's so fucking random. Cuts to a random black guy in the desert with a sign that says, "Ask me about." I think it says, "Ask me about God, and I'll tell you about the Satan." And that just cuts to him with a fucking shotgun in the frame, screaming, "This is hell! This is hell! This is hell!" It's so fucking left field, and it has nothing to do with anything. And I love it. It's mind blowing.
Those two flicks. I'm not as big a fan of 3 from Hell. I think it's fine, but I think it just did a lot of what Devil's Reject did already. But those two flicks, like again, like you've got like Michael Berryman in the second one, like oh my god, like who was it? And then E.G. Daly, who plays like the main hooker, who is the voice of Tommy from Rugrats. Like that's insane. It's insane.
She's Pee Wee Herman's girlfriend and Pee Wee's Big Adventure, and
she, I think she's a Powerpuff Girl as well.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I think she's Buttercup, the nasty one, the one who's always dirty.
And then Keenan's dad, Ken Foree from Dawn of the Dead.
Yes.
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 plays Spaulding's brother.
Who's also
And
Joe Grizzly in Halloween, and we only know he's
Halloween
Grizzly because he introduces himself about 6 times.
in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And you got fucking Danny Trejo and Diamond Dallas
Yes.
Page, and it's just like a fucking. And PJ Souls from Halloween has the official
Yes.
clown business scene. Like, yeah, no, it's fucking. And Forsyth, I mean, good God, I could go on about it all fucking day.
Ah, so good.
Rupp,
Rupp, you've
your
been so
thoughts?
polite. Sorry.
Okay.
You've been looking at the two Jimmys nerding out for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm a zombie apologist as well, actually. I like most of Zombies movies. Some are better than others, but I find them all pretty watchable. House of a Thousand Corpses kind of grew on me. I remember seeing it. I think I saw it in theaters. Like I snuck into it and saw the back half or something like that. But I definitely saw it on my Hotbox a bunch of times. It's one of those Hotbox movies, and I saw it a couple times, and it always stuck with me. The movie really is like a nightmare. This and Texas Chainsaw are like you're watching a live action nightmare, and especially this one with all the weird cuts and the way it's filmed and the random shit. It is a nightmare come to life. It's horrific. It's horrible. I think Devil's Rejects is a better movie. I think it's perfect. I think it's like the story in that one is phenomenal. The way it ends was a perfect note. It's a shame that he brought those characters back. If he should have just done a prequel, rather than bring them back and sully Devil's Rejects, which was perfect. But it is what it is. It was fine enough, but you can't top that end with Freebird playing as they're going off to their deaths. But House of a Thousand Corpses is gnarly, nasty, dirty. Yeah, I think it's pretty damn good. I don't think it's a slasher personally, but I'm not going to beat up Jimmy too much about it. I wanted to put a Saw movie or two, but I was like, Saw's not a slasher. It's
I don't know
slasher
what you would.
adjacent.
I don't know what I'd put corpses in though. Like I don't think it follows the tropes of a traditional slasher, but just a horror film.
Horror movie or haunted house, maybe.
Maybe it's tough. I will say, whilst I'm not a huge fan of Three from Hell. I don't mind it. I think it's fine, but I do like that he's been working more with Richard Brake. Like his introduction
Richard Brake is so good.
His introduction as Doomhead in 31 is one of my favorite character introductions of all time. It's like the choice to go black and white, and he also played Joe Chill in Batman Begins, which is a weird trajectory. So
and then Barbarian. I mean, he's doing fucking well.
He was the Night King in Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Yep.
Yeah. Richard Brake is one.
He's also in Mandalorian.
Is he?
I don't remember that.
Yes, he is.
I believe you. I just don't remember when he was in.
Yeah, no one's arguing with you.
He's in the Bill Burr episode, if I'm correct, and he's like bragging about like being almost like a Nazi who killed those people.
Yes.
And Bill Burr is like, Bill Burr can't deal with it, and Bill Burr like shoots him.
Yes, that's right.
Yes,
that's right. Oh man.
And he's great in that too.
Yeah,
he's always great.
He's good. Yeah, like Rob Zombie has a really good way of finding great character actors and giving them their dues, giving them a chance to shine.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would say Bill Moseley specifically. The only reason I went and saw Repo: The Genetic Opera is because Bill Moseley is in that film, and now I really do like that movie. I can't help it; the soundtrack's a banger. But I'm one of the only people who thinks that, and that's fine.
No, you're among company here.
Yeah, I was just looking at that the other day. I was like, man, it's been a while since I watched Repo. I need to check that on again. Rupp, we know what your number one is, but let's pretend I didn't ruin it for you. Let's
okay. My number one is Scream. It's my favorite scary movie, my favorite horror movie. It's the one I have seen the most, without a doubt. Friday the 13th is my favorite franchise, but Scream the original is my favorite horror movie. Came out in 1996. I'm 9 years old. This is the slasher movie, and Saw is probably the franchise that I'm closest to because I saw every one of those in theaters because I was the right age when they came out. Scream, it's 96. I'm 9 years old. I'm still a little too young to go see it in the theaters, but that VHS is getting its way around, and I'm Ghostface for Halloween, and other kids are Ghostface for Halloween, and it's like a thing. We all know Scream. We've all seen it. You know, we all went and saw the second one in theaters. Especially me, I had a big crush on Sarah Michelle Gellar. I had Buffy posters all over my wall. I'd kiss him at night. You know. Oh
I think
yeah.
we're guilty of doing that. I've definitely.
I'll admit, as a little kid, yeah. Yeah, I had a big thing for Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's in the second one, but the first one is a great mystery. It's rewatchable. The lines are iconic. The whodunit. It's meta when at a time when horror needs a meta movie, and it needs something to break through and bring slashers back, and it does it in a fun way, a unique way, and it sets the tone for the rest of the decade of slashers, basically until we get to the remake era. You know, and that's what slashers look like. Like Valentine tries to look like this. I know what you did last summer. They all try to look like this. Urban Legend. Let's get pretty actors from the WB or CW or like Party of Five act like young hot actors, and we'll throw them in this. We won't have any nudity because we're not sleazy. It's not the 80s anymore. And that's what horror movies were for a real friggin' long time after this. And I love Scream. I love the franchise. Unlike others in the franchise, this one plays fair with the whodunit, which I think is key in a mystery like this. Because it's my biggest problem with especially Scream 5. I think the first 4 are like all perfect. 5 I have a big problem with.
I'm so glad you said that because 4 gets a lot of hate. 4 was my first Scream film. Somehow I saw that before, and I love 4. I think 4 is really good.
I love 4. 5 I have a big problem with because when you're like, the big fun of a Scream movie is guessing who the killer is, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're all doing it. We're all like, oh, is it that person? You know, and that's the fun of it. Scream 5 does not play fair with the killers. Because, especially in the hospital scene, right? When you're watching it, when you're watching the hospital scene, I'm going to spoil Scream 5 for people. You have Jack Quaid there, right? Who's one of the killers. We see Dewey in a physical struggle with the other killer. They're about the same height, and the killer overpowers Dewey and kills him. Now, when you're trying to guess who the killer is for the rest of the time, I'm like, okay, who's about his height that it could be? And then it turns out it's Mikey Madison, who's like 5'2". And it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And she's not overpowering Dewey. That would not happen. So it doesn't play fair with you. And that is like a big problem I have with Scream 5.
I will say she does have one of the best death scenes of any Scream film, though. Like, that's great.
Well, it's a reference. It has to be a reference to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because she dies the same exact way.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I like her as an actress. I just don't think the movie plays fair with the reveal.
Yeah.
And then part 6 I felt was way too obvious. I got the killers right away and all the twists. Like I was like, oh, okay, left me cold. I'm still excited for 7. I'll watch any Scream movie they make, but that first one is a magic trick. I watch it every year. I've seen it a million times. If it's on TV, I'll stop and watch it. My wife, who doesn't like horror, doesn't like anything like that, will watch Scream every time it's on with me. Like, we love Scream. It's one of the few horror movies we can watch together.
I got really turned around on it because, as I said, I didn't like it the first time I watched it, and I just kind of never came back to it. And then in the first year of the podcast, I interviewed a guy, Tyler Hansen, who was making a fan film. He was directing a fan film because he's a huge Scream fan, which people can go check out on YouTube right now. And before I interviewed him, I'm like, I should probably rewatch it because my thoughts on this film are not particularly high. I need to make sure I'm current with it. And I was blown away by how good it was. I was like, geez, like I was so unfair on this flick. Like, this flick is wonderful. And then we actually had him come back for episode 100 because for episode 100 of the podcast, we did a radio play. And the radio play was that all of my previous guests got trapped into movies, and so I
wasn't invited.
Yeah, I know. Do you know? We talked about. I was so close to inviting you so many times. I was like, Rupp's too busy. Like, I think I was more of just like I honestly thought that I was just like an opportunity for you to promote your show. I didn't know if you actually wanted to come back. And then after we spoke, you're like, oh my god, dude, I would have come back in a heartbeat. So now I know. Like you've been on twice since that conversation.
I
Um,
know. I had to bust your balls a bit.
for sure. But yeah, I wrote. So the director of that fan film played the Randy role in our Scream scene. So that was kind of fun. So yeah, I think it's which is meta in its own rights, which is kind of fun. But yeah, I love Scream. It's a great flick. I was wrong. I was wrong to hate on it when I did because now I watch that movie every year as well.
It's perfect. It's so watchable,
Yeah.
and like every line.
Oh, did we lose you up? Did you hear him, Jimmy?
I didn't hear
I'm
a
here.
word of that.
I
I didn't hear a
Oh,
word
really?
of that.
I
Yeah.
know.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, it was just when you
Okay.
went to your performance, we lost it.
Yeah,
I said my mom and dad are gonna be so mad at me.
Yes, yes.
you didn't hear that the first time.
Yeah. I was like, is he doing a silent
It
performance?
was better the first time,
Yeah.
and then I toned it down. I was worried the mic, like it was so high pitched that the mic maybe it
That
killed
might be it. You went to a different. You went to that decibel level that only teenagers can hear.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
ward them off.
exactly.
Oh man, I feel like I'm going to be a real like come down after that because those are two really great, great flicks. I like my flick, by the way. I wouldn't have chosen if I didn't, but I think both of yours are so iconic. So 2020s is my final decade. There haven't been a ton of slashes. I think one character has reigned supreme in the decade so far. The choice is which of the two films has been in do I choose, and I'm leaning with Terrifier 3. I like all the Terrifier films, but the first number 3 I think is the first of the franchise I walked out of being like I enjoyed that. I think 1 and 2 until recently was so icky and so cruel that I was like, I like bits of it, but I feel uncomfortable saying that I enjoyed it. I've gone back and watched the trilogy in the last week, and now I do enjoy them. Horrible as it might sound to say, I do really enjoy them. But I think 3 really nailed the balance of the wacky kind of slapsticky humor and the intense, cruel violence. The only thing I can't justify is that attic scene. That's oh man, that's a whole other level with the glass in the attic. But everything else, I think he's a great new horror villain at a time where we haven't had any long-lasting horror villains. Like who was the last? Like Jigsaw? Is Jigsaw the newest villain before him? That kind of
Jigsaw.
had any kind of longevity, and they killed him off after 3 films. By the way, spoilers.
Yeah, I know.
And I feel like we've been living in this kind of era of what they refer to as elevated horror, and I feel like they only call it that so critics can praise it. They're like, oh, well, it's elevated. Stuff like Hereditary and Midsommar, which I love, but I feel like there's been kind of this push away from traditional slasher tropes, from the more kind of icky kind of horror films for a while. So I think Art the Clown is a welcome return to form, and Terrifier 3, like it just feels like it just feels like the film is literally just like set piece dialogue, set piece dialogue. There's so many kills in it, like, and there's none that kind of match up to the level of the bedroom scene. Like that's so intense. But I think in some ways it almost goes too far for me. And that's as a guy who loves Hostel and Saw and stuff. But it's so full on. Whereas this, I feel like every one of the kills has a level of enjoyment as well. Like there's a fun to them. It almost feels like it found the right spirit of what it's trying to do. But yeah, like the Santa Claus scene with Clint Howard of all people, like is really funny until it's not, The shower scene, like I was shocked that in 2024 we got 2 male genital mutilation scenes with Maxine as well, but it's welcome, it's long overdue. No nudity. I know, Rupp, you're disappointed by that, but we did get pretty close.
Yep.
The rat kill, but then also, then there's the whole like spoilers. This is a very new film, so this is spoilers, but the whole descent into hell angle, which is like, oh my god, like I'm shocked every time we get approved for another Terrifier film, but now I want to see what happens next. I just think it's incredible. I think Sienna finally claims her crown as a scream queen. I liked her in number 2, but I don't know if she they were still kind of figuring out what her story was. But 3, I'm like, okay, she's got backstory, she's got motive, she's shown she's not a one-hit wonder. She's a great scream queen. I really like her as a final girl. I just think it's a really solid entry into the franchise. I know you said 1's your favorite, Rupp, but I think 3 is really firing on all cylinders.
I would put 3 as the second best.
Yep.
I think I think 2 is just way too long. It's like almost 3 hours, and I
Yeah.
never need my slasher movie to be 3 hours and have unexplained lore that doesn't pay off in that movie.
Mm.
It's like a real, like, it doesn't pay off what it's building to, and I think 3, doesn't build anything, it doesn't answer, it pays off all its beats. It's probably still just a slad touch too long in my opinion, but it works
Mhm.
overall. The gore is even better than the second one. Damien Leone knows exactly what he's doing. And I agree. Sienna is great in this one. She's built. She does some logical things that you would expect,
Mm.
where it's like, oh, why wouldn't you go get that thing? But it's also like, why did you get rid of it in the first place? Like, I'd be walking around with that
Yeah.
fucking thing, you know?
And I
Um,
I do like 2. I think 2 is very much an overcorrection to the feedback from the first one because everyone's like, the first one has no story. The first one actually, once you watch it in the context of the trilogy, works really well. I think 1 works really well, but I can see the complaints about it because I had the same complaint. I think 2, yeah, they're definitely overcorrecting, but I enjoy a lot of 2. I enjoy most of it, but 3, I think they found that balance. Like they know what they're doing, they know what they've got. I was really worried going into number 3 because I knew children were not going to be safe, and as a parent, I was like, oh, I don't know, Arthur Clown's pretty nasty. Like this might be too much, but I actually feel like they did a pretty good job of not going too far with the child. I've heard critics say otherwise, but I don't think they went over the top with the child violence. Like you
they
never,
didn't show any of it.
yeah, like you see the aftermath, but they didn't go into it. I think they could have pushed it further, and it would have definitely upset more people. But I didn't have the problem. I remember Dan Murrell, like he's a big like critic with like I can't remember what he does anymore, but he was on like the movie fights and stuff back in the day, and he was like, he goes, "These go too far. These are despicable. Like they're not for me. Like this takes things to a really unpleasant place." And I just didn't agree. I was like, I don't think, like, yes, they're unpleasant, and if you're not into this type of violence, then no, these movies are not for you. Like that's not me saying, all right, green light, go check them out. But I think knowing what they were capable of with number 2, I actually think they showed some restraint, and it doesn't harm the product at all. Look at me getting
Yeah,
really
and
serious about Terrifier. Like,
No, I love it.
it's also like not everything has to be for everybody or has to be
yeah,
accessible to everybody. It's like they made the movie they wanted to make with no studio. It's exactly the movie that Damien Leone wanted to make, for better or worse. Staten Island shot, gotta
I was
represent.
gonna bring it
Uh,
up. I was gonna bring it up.
but Buzz on the Lens guys, they're Staten Island guys. I know some of those guys pretty well. But again,
so we're gonna get a
it's
Brian Rupert cameo in 4. Then we're gonna see you show up.
no, because they yeah. I know them. We know who each other are. There's no beef or anything like that, but I doubt I could wiggle my way into a cameo. And honestly, maybe I should try, because then if I die in a movie, I could just show up on the con circuit forever and just
Yeah,
sign
that's
my
it.
death. You know,
You really
I'm the
could.
fat guy that Art killed.
People
Um,
would pay for that.
They're gonna make a
I know.
Friday 13th reference. They'll be like, "All right, now what candy bar do you want to be eating while we kill you?"
Yeah. Can I eat popcorn instead? Just shoving it all
Oh,
over
that's a
my
great
face.
idea. And he crushes your
Yeah.
chest, and it pops out like a popcorn bucket. Like,
He fills me with kernels and like stuffs me into like an oven or microwave, and it's all like popping out of me or
oh, now we're
something.
leading into Thanksgiving territory, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I generally like 3 a lot. 2, I was very disappointed in 2 after 1, but 3 I felt was a good correction, and it actually made me want to see the next one.
Mm,
Where 2, I really didn't care about seeing the next one. I want to see the conclusion of the story. I know people will want like 10 art movies. I say end it
I
at
do.
4 if you can. I know. End it at 4 if you can bring it home well and get it done. Go out on a solid conclusion, wrap up the lore, solve every mystery, and let it rest. And then
yeah.
bring art back in like 30 years or 10 years, whatever. Just let this continuity rest.
I think
That's how
that's
I
the
feel.
plan. I think that's the plan.
Yeah.
Nobody's mentioned All Hallows Eve. I love All fucking Hallows Eve,
I've
man.
only
I
seen it
never
once,
saw it.
and I do like it. But obviously David Howard Thornton like has really kind of stepped in and embodied the role.
Yes.
But yeah, All
No,
Hallows Eve, that sequence, I would say some of the sequences that are some of the scariest stuff that they've done, like
Yeah.
where she wakes up on the operating table and she's like all carved into, which they reference in the mental hospital at the end of 2 and beginning of 3. Like all the
Yeah.
same carvings are just scrawled on the wall. Um, yeah, All Hallows Eve I think is really well made as well, like especially for the budget. Like considering the restraints they had, there's some really good stuff in there. I prefer David Howard Thornton's art, which I don't think is a surprise to anyone. I think most people do.
No, no,
Yeah.
that's why they keep using them. I mean, dude, I love it. I love those movies. I love that character. I mean, we've already covered my clown fetish. It's nice that
Mm.
a killer clown is taking over the fucking horror world. The fact that an unrated,
Yes.
non-studio film was the #1 movie in the fucking world for at least a week. It might even been 2 weeks.
And open against arguably the most famous killer clown in the world. Like it opened opposite Joker 2. Like Joker 2 and
Oh,
Terrifier 3 opened the same week.
yeah, yeah, dude. It thrills me in no end. My fiance just got an Art the Clown tattoo.
Nice.
I've met Art the Clown. I've never met David Howard Thornton, but I've met Art the Clown fucking 3 times. I've met Damien, I think, twice. Um, I'm a sucker for those movies. I follow the news on it every day, waiting for more updates on the fourth one. I mean, I will grant you the second one is definitely a little long. They definitely go down some strange rabbit holes that don't really pay off, but I love them, man. I fucking love them. I think they're all fucking great. I couldn't tell you what my favorite is, but I did rewatch the first one relatively recently, and what I walked away from it with was me and Rupp need to go to the pizza place on Staten Island where they filmed in the beginning because it's still there, and it's
I
funny.
don't
Like,
think the
yeah,
first one was shot on Staten Island.
I think it was Long Island, maybe.
It might be Long Island. The first
I
one I
think
don't
it's
think
Long
is
Island.
Staten Island.
Yeah, I think it's Long Island, but either way, like, Staten Island represent, Rupp. I know how much that means to you, and those guys also work pretty close to where I am. They're constantly doing appearances and shit around me. So, like, the buzz in the was it fuzz in the lens, buzz in the
Yeah,
lens.
fuzz in the lens, yeah.
Buzz on
Yeah,
Lens.
Michael Levy, like, he's always fucking around here. Um, it gave way to things like Stream and that new Scream boat coming out that I believe Q is in. I don't know if that's a
Ah,
secret.
cool.
Yeah,
I
and
just saw online the other day that the part of the plot has been released and it's Steamboat Willie hunting down Disney princesses, which I know you're not for, Up. But I was like, oh, we're getting Disney princesses in here as well, or at least the final girls are dressed like princesses. I'm like, oh, I kind of like that, like um, I like that attention to
Takes place on
detail.
the Staten Island Ferry.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
and like, I
Um,
haven't seen the Mousetrap yet, but I'm definitely seeing Scream Boat like opening weekend. Like, I
he's just
love those
become
guys.
the makeup guy. Like he's just become just that, like how Andy Serkis became the mocap guy. David Howard, because he was the Grinch in the mean one.
And I
Um,
and I kind of love that too. I mean, it's not well made and it's not particularly interesting, but I kind of dug it. Like, I love the idea. I'm the opposite of Rob. I love the idea of bastardizing all these characters. I love the idea of taking all these fucking childhood things and fucking making them, murderous monsters. I love it. Give me
I
all of
think
it.
the budget went to the costume and makeup, which
No
it looks
doubt.
incredible.
It
Like it
does.
looks
The rest of the movie looks like
amazing.
and the rest of the movie looks like shit. It's fucking crazy. But
Yeah,
he's great in it.
yeah, he's really good in it.
He's
And
the
that's the
high
thing.
he's the high point.
That was my feeling on Mousetrap as well. I'm like you've put the money in the right place. Now we just need to like take the next step and just tie some loose ends, bring a few more things in. It doesn't just need to be generic. Oh, here's me. Like same with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, to bring it full circle.
I
You
love
know,
that sequel. I
it,
love that sequel.
yeah,
Winnie the Pooh. I love that sequel, dude. We didn't even mention him. My favorite character from those movies is fucking Owl.
yeah.
Owl in the second one.
Oh, that was their favorite character as well. So like we spent the money on him. He has to be in every scene.
Oh, dude, he was fucking glorious. Because I saw the first one. You're right, taking a full circle. I love the first one. No, wait a second. I liked the first one.
Mm.
I had my issues with it, but I'm like, for what this is, I enjoy it. You know what I mean? Wasn't great, but it was fine. So, but of course, I got to watch the sequel. I loved the sequel. I thought the sequel was fucking fantastic. I had the best time with the sequel.
The first
So
one has two of my favorite filmmaking errors of maybe any film, because I always love it when like you see behind the curtain and like just like little mistakes are made. Of course they happen. Like there's so much going on in a film set. In the first Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, in a matter of 10 minutes, Christopher Robin refers to the girl he's with as his fiance and his wife. Like it's like, that's my fiance, blah, blah. And then like the next scene, they're married. I'm like, what happened? When did this happen? And then later, the girl who's in the hot tub who gets attacked by Pooh and Piglet, she's holding a phone, and her phone case has her name on it, but it's the actress's name, not the character's name. So she used her actual cell phone for the shooting and didn't take the case off. So it's like it
holy
says Natasha
shit.
instead of the character's name. Genius.
Holy
Like so
shit.
good.
And Rupp hates all of this. Rupp is like, fuck all of this.
I want to go back to David Howard Thornton quickly. I know we're running out of time, but have you seen his Joker film that was released on YouTube?
I didn't know he had a Joker film.
I think I saw like a screenshot from it.
Because he wants to play the Joker bad. Like, you know he does. Like, he's at cons, he's always talking about it. He's got a great Mark Hamill Joker impression. But he did this short film. It's like a 15-minute short. It's called Joker's Wild. It's on YouTube. It's free. And they did prosthetics, and I saw the photo, and I wasn't sold. I was like, I don't know. It looks a little bit too, pardon the pun, but too clownish. His performance, he doesn't do an impression. He's doing his own version of the Joker. It's a little bit more punk rock, and it's just him torturing Jason Todd in a chair for like 15 minutes and like talking to him. It's astounding. I actually reviewed it recently, and he commented on it. It was really nice. Like he commented on the review. But I've been talking. I actually want to try and get the filmmaker on, the guy who directed the short, because he does a lot of short stuff. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's probably the most comic book Joker we've seen in live action. Like it actually feels like it's come off a pound. It's a little bit more gnarly. It's a little bit more violent than we've seen it on the, maybe in the comics, but it feels really authentic. I really liked it. And if you like him, like I think you'll like his performance as Joker.
I love all of this.
I was like, why aren't Warner Brothers watching this? Like you're about to do a new Joker. You're about to do something different. Like this is a way in. And the guy who already plays the killer clown, like has shown a very different interpretation. But yeah, it's a fun short. Not for kids.
And he's proven that he can fucking bring box office. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
He should be all over it.
What I love about it is if he does get cast, you're going to get that segment of the audience who doesn't know who he is. Just like when Disturbed covered Sound of Silence. Like I worked in a record store at that time, and I had like grandparents coming like, "Oh, can we get the Disturbed album?" And I was like, and I didn't know that they'd done that. I'm like, yeah, like you don't really seem like the Disturbed audience. And like, oh, we loved Sound of Silence. I was like, okay.
The name should say it all, but
yeah, like so. If we do get David Howard Thornton as Joker, you are going to get that audience. We're like, we've heard he's really good in other things. Like, what has he done before that? Well, Terrifier. Give it a go, I guess. If you like Batman, you may not love Terrifier.
Fucking awesome.
Boys, this has been an absolute hoot. This has been so much
fun. I'm sorry. Before we go,
oh, you got a game. Yes, I'm
game.
Sorry. We've been talking for like 3 hours.
I know.
I wasn't expecting it. I know with you, Rupp, we're generally done in less than 2 hours. I didn't realize that Jimmy and I would have so much in common that we'd just be like nerding out. So no, please take the reins.
This game is called According to Jim. So you have to guess which is the opinion that Jim said. So I asked Jim, name the 3 hottest final girls. And there's 3 answers. So you have to tell me which is Jimmy. Tiffany Shepis, Danielle Harris, Lauren Rivera. I also really love Katie McGuire, who's in a couple of the art movies, but definitely not a final girl. That's one answer. Okay. Second answer. Jennifer Love Hewitt, Jennifer Aniston, Jessica Biel. All those movies came out when I was growing up, and I've spent hours in my room watching them, if you know what I mean. Number 3. Could I put Jamie Lee Curtis down 3 times? No? Okay. Jamie Lee Curtis, Olivia Hussey, and Gail Weathers. Does she count? She makes it through 5 Scream movies.
All right. So I don't know Jimmy that well at all. I know him a lot better now than I did at the start of this. There hasn't really been much Halloween talk today, and Jamie Lee Curtis hasn't been mentioned at all. And Jimmy has a real love for the classics. We've talked pretty much all about stuff pre-90s. I'm going A. That's what I'm leaning with.
Tiffany Shepard, Danielle Harris, Lauren Rivera.
And now that I think about it, none of them are a classic. Lauren Rivera's brand new. That's where I'm going. It doesn't make sense into my mind anymore, but yeah, that's where I'm going.
Jimmy, would you care to reveal?
You are correct, good sir. It is A.
Ah, nice. Lauren, look, I know it's 2025, but let's be real. Lauren Rivera's a babe. Like, she's such a babe.
I thought
and
so
she
in
could kick
2.
all of our asses at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought so in 2. It was further proved to me in 3. Danielle Harris, obviously, when she was in the Halloween movies, I didn't think much for then.
I'm glad you clarified that, Jimmy.
Yeah. Rob Zombie Halloween, though, she looks great, and she's like in so much shit. Yeah, Hatchet.
She's hot in Hatchet.
Is she playing? She's the best friend in Halloween, isn't she? In the remake.
Yeah, in Rob Zombie Halloween. Yeah,
I remember talking. I can't remember who I was talking about. I was talking to about it because that is something they didn't really do too much in the Halloween franchise, especially as it played on, where there was quite a lot of nudity in it. But Rob Zombie does this thing where it's like, if he's going to show you a naked woman, you are not going to enjoy it. Like, he's going to make sure it's as unpleasant as possible. Exactly. And like, because every time a girl is naked in that Halloween film, like, oh man, you're like, oh, please put your clothes back on because I know something horrible is going to happen. Put them on, please. Yeah. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. She's hot in that. Hatchet. She was just in Stream. She looks great. I see her at all the cons. She's a fucking smoke show. In fact, I'll give you a quick behind the scenes. Did you hear the last Tell 'em Steve Dave Christmas?
No, I haven't yet because my Bandcamp's been playing up, so I've got to. Okay. I'm back in Australia, so I haven't listened to Rupp's, but also Rupp, I haven't listened to theirs either. So it's equal. So yeah.
Rupp and I are both in it, and one of the games we play is Walt as the Christmas elf texted all our significant others and asked them questions, and then we had to answer, what we thought they would say. And I forget what the question was, but I think it was like, what would Jimmy's perfect Christmas be, or some bullshit, or a perfect Christmas gift. And it's funny because my fiance answered with like a long answer, and he cut this part out of the answer on the show. So it's not on the show, but I've seen the text, and her answer is a threesome with Danielle Harris. And I guess Walt the Christmas elf didn't like that answer because he didn't use it. And Tiffany Shepard is like so underappreciated. But Q is friends with her. She's been on Space Monkeys. She's in like everything, and I think she's a fucking smoke show. Always has been.
She's in The Hazing, the underseen gem. I always recommend.
Oh yeah, well, as I said, the boys on Midnight Terrors love Tiffany Shepard, and you've been on Midnight Terrors as well, Rob.
Yeah,
they've got I haven't listened to the show in a while. They've got a new co-host. He's a really great dude, but I haven't had a chance to listen to him in a little while. But I know they're big fans of Tiffany Shepard as well.
She's in Victor Crowley with Q, Felissa Rose, Adam Green, all the fucking TSD buddies. I don't know. She is so fucking hot to me. When asked my top 3, that's who I thought of. There's probably somebody I forgot. But...
It's a good list.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next question.
According to Jim, it's a great name. Yeah. It's such a Walt name as well. I love it.
He's been working on this for years. Rupp has been trying to get this off the ground for years.
So what slasher character do you see yourself in the most? Leprechaun. He's short and angry, and no one takes him seriously, so he rips out your fucking throat. Captain Spaulding, he's the coolest. An old clown with a monster museum? I'd fucking love to have that shit. And he makes fried chicken and wears dope-ass fucking shirts and has a rad fucking John Wayne tattoo. I could easily be him in 40 years. Freddy Krueger, because I have big dreams for myself. So why not get people in their dreams?
I don't think it's Freddy Krueger. I know he loves Freddy Krueger, but I don't think it's Freddy Krueger. I also don't think it's Leprechaun because I think he gets roasted about his height enough, and I don't think he would do that. But the love for Spaulding, the tattoo comment, the amount of F's in that answer, although that could be you doing a waltz on me and deliberately misleading me, I think it's Spaulding.
You think him gushing about the character kind of spoiled that one a bit, but he spent like 15 minutes talking about how much he loves him. But you got that one. All right, next question.
2 for 2.
There's no way I was going to be Leprechaun. I was like, I don't think so.
A slasher villain is trying to get you. Who do you think you have the best chance at surviving? Freddy Krueger. I drink a lot of Red Bull, so I would just need to drink more. That motherfucker can't get me if I don't go to sleep. Michael Myers. I would have the best odds. He doesn't teleport like Jason. He moves slow as fuck. I would just run. No falling down or thinking someone else and fucking around. Or thinking he's someone else and fucking around. I see that motherfucker, I'm out. It depends on which ghost face, but if it's the one with Mikey Madison, I say her. There's no way I'm letting Honora kill me. I would beat her with the Oscar she robbed from Demi Moore.
Okay. I think
I'm
you wrote.
wondering which one it is.
I think you wrote the third one because that sounds like a Rupp joke. I'm going with Michael Myers.
Yeah, that's Jimmy.
Is that right? I honestly, those are all so good. I couldn't tell which one was me.
Yeah, that one's you.
There you go. No, I didn't think it was the first one. I didn't think it was the Red Bull comment. And yeah, the inclusion of the line, I'd beat her away with the Oscar she stole from Demi Moore. I'm like, that's a Rupp joke. That's 100% a Rupp joke. Wow, I'm doing all right. I'm performing pretty well.
Yeah.
3 for 3.
There's only 5, so you've already won.
Yes.
All right. Jigsaw has you in a trap. He also has all your family and loved ones in the next room. He offers you a one-time switch where whoever you pick will go in the trap in your place, but you must watch them in the trap. Who do you pick and why? I would pick my mom. She's older and at the end of the line anyway, so it's not a big deal. Plus, she's pretty fucking smart. She could get out of the trap if she could get out if the trap was fair. 2, I would have a hard time giving Jigsaw anyone. I'd rather die than someone else. And watching it, such a horrific thought. But if I had to pick anyone, it'd probably be Get Him, because then I'd be Walt's favorite son. and I think I could handle being an office coach. I'd feel horrible about it, though. Anyone in the world? I guess I would pick Vladimir Putin. I guess he's going to have to play a game on behalf of Ukraine.
This is the toughest one so far. This one's really tough. I don't think it's Get 'Em. I love that answer. But again, I think some of the stuff at the end about the office coach, I think that's a Rupp joke. The question was friends and family. It wasn't anyone in the world, was it? The question was if you...
He has all your friends. He has all your family and loved ones in the next room.
And you can only swap with one of them. You can't swap with anyone in the world. I think, it's going to sound weird, I think it's Mum. That's where I'm leaning. I don't think it's Putin. I think it's Mum.
It's Get Him.
Oh, wow. There you go. It sounded so... Like, okay, you've got his voice down pat for that one then, yeah.
He wants to usurp Get Him. All right. This last one is good. But
that's great. That was the one I was sure it wasn't going to be because I'm like, it just feels like it's going on too long. Yeah. All right, cool.
I had to justify
this one is X-rated, but get ready. You're at a family dinner with the family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. What human body part are you eating first and why? If there's pussy on the menu, I'm taking that. I love to eat it in real life. Why not chow down at the table and show off my skills? Question 2. I'm hoping there's breast on the table. Chicken breast tastes great. Why not human breast? Plus, I can motorboat. Question 3. I'd probably eat that ass. Not because I famously eat ass, but because there's so much meat on there, it could be nice and juicy, as opposed to something like a bony ass foot or something like that.
All right. Okay. I'm trying to take this really seriously. I don't think it's 1. Because whilst I appreciate the joke, not a lot to actually consume in terms of saying, although maybe you don't want to eat a lot of food because you're eating body parts. So maybe that is the right answer. Because if you're forced to be a cannibal, why would you choose the biggest piece to eat if you don't want to be a cannibal? Unless Jimmy's trying to prove to the Sawyers that he's down so he can protect himself. This is a good one. This is tough. I'm going to go B. I don't think it's right. But I think B makes the most sense of the 3.
Jimmy, reveal the answer.
Was C.
I was so close to leaning on C, but I was like, well, if you're there, you wouldn't want to eat as much as possible. You're just trying to get out of there.
I
All right,
guess
it
I
was
didn't even
C.
think about that.
I'm
I
glad.
didn't even get.
I'm glad I opened strong with the first three because I really got defeated by those last two.
Oh, you won. You won. You went
Yeah,
3
you
and
won.
2.
Nice. So this game is going to be on every episode of Slash School.
I
I
don't know
have
what we're
not.
doing.
That was a test for it.
Okay.
You were the test. You were the space monkey. No pun intended. I want to build a show around that game called According to Jim, and I want to duplicate the intro for the sitcom According to Jim, but I want it to be about Jimmy's preferences and stuff. So I got to work out the kinks. But that was the first round of it.
I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And considering I don't know Jimmy that well, I think, like obviously you'll be playing with people who know him probably a little bit better than I do. Thank God we did a 3-hour podcast before that. I got a bit more information that I could answer the questions. But no, I think it works. I think it's fun.
Thank you.
Go, Rupp. There you go, buddy.
There we go. So if one person from the other side of the world's opinion matters, there it is. And if it doesn't,
Yeah,
back to square
does.
one.
It matters. It absolutely
it matters.
Guys, this has been a blast. I was really looking forward to it. I always love catching up with you, Rob. Jimmy, as I said at the start, you were so nice to me. I was looking forward to meeting you and hoping we'd be able to kind of click and connect. And it's been so much fun. Hopefully you guys have had a good time as well. And
Oh yeah.
before
Happy
we
to do
jump
it.
out, let's promote the show. Let's promote you guys. So where can they find Slasher School?
Reviewing history, you can get that anywhere you get your podcast. It's me and my co-host. We go through historical movies. We tell you what's real and fake in them as we make dick and fart jokes. It's a lot of good time. We have a bunch of guests. If you're a Tell 'em Steve Dave fan, you're definitely going to find some Tell 'em Steve Dave alumni on there. There's so much content we put out, on the regular channel alone, but you'll learn stuff, you'll laugh. It's a really good time reviewing history. We have some great guests coming up soon. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/reviewing history. You get a bonus podcast a month. There's all sorts of tiers. There's an audio tier, a video tier. There's a Discord where everybody hangs out. There's a monthly live stream. It is a blast. I'm having so much fun with it. And there's content for everyone. There's Slasher School, where me, Jimmy, and my co-host Anthony go through slasher movies. There's Seinfeld School, where I walk my co-host Steve
that's
through
cool.
every
My
episode of Seinfeld, and he hates Seinfeld. There's
Yeah,
our
my
film
favorite.
school, where me and Steve watch our old short films with the audience, and we walk you through what we were thinking with them. We give you the behind the scenes of all these little goofy shorts we were making. There's The Future Is Now, where we watch movies set in the future and we talk about the technology and could it happen and all this. We shot one. We did one on a Scanner Darkly, and we made the visuals look exactly like a Scanner
That's
Darkly.
cool.
Yeah, we have a Minority Report one coming out next week. We have a monthly show where we play retro video games and we go through the game and talk about it. And it's called Side Scrollers. There's a bunch of free ones up on the YouTube, but there's all different shows. We have one on documentaries coming out called We're Docking. And we're gonna cover all sorts of documentaries on it. And yes, that innuendo is intended on purpose. Thank you so much for having me. Review History Pod on Twitter, Reviewing History Pod everywhere else. Follow me personally on all social media at Brian Ruppert. That's with 2 P's. Follow me on Letterboxd. I rank and review every single movie I watch, even the ones in my personal life. I think you guys could tell I say this spiel a lot. Thanks, James.
No worries. I just want to say I knew about the video game when you did because I was going to do that. I was like, I've got my SNES, I've got my 64. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to call it Game Boys. And then you released one. I'm like, well, I can't do it now. I was like, Rob's already doing
Do
it.
it.
I got it.
Do
We
it.
haven't got a Patreon yet, but that is one thing I want to do with the patrons. Actually, get together with my brother. So we were raised on video games together, and we don't get to play very often anymore. So I was like, I want to get my brother, and we'll call it Game Boys because it sounds like gay boys.
Great idea.
And then reminisce and go to like Donkey Kong and stuff. But what about you, Jimmy? Where can they find you online, man?
At Jimmy the Hair Guy on Twitter, Instagram. I think that's it. I'm on the Tell 'em Steve Dave Patreon sometimes. I'm talked about on regular Tell 'em Steve Dave sometimes.
Yeah.
Definitely subscribe to patreon.com/reviewing history. If you enjoyed this chat today, you can hear me and Rupp talk all about this shit once a month on Slasher School. We cover some good ones. We're gonna be covering more good ones. It's a lot of fucking fun. I really love doing it. So if people subscribe, we can keep doing it. So
Man, look,
sign up today.
absolutely. From this chat alone, look, I'm signing up. I am. I was always going to sign up for the Reviewing History Patreon at some point, but now, like, oh man, the only thing the podcast will be missing will be more me, but that's okay. I can handle that. I can just listen in and make comments on my own. Thank you both so much for giving us so much time this morning. It's always a blast having you up. You're welcome back anytime. Jimmy, the invitation is open as well. Next time we can do your top 5 films if you want to come back, if you decide you
Yeah,
want to do that list.
let's do it.
But thank you
I
everyone
tell
for
you, can I?
go.
3 of his 5 are Problem Child 1, 2, and 3. 3 is number 5 because there's no Michael Oliver, but the first 2, number 1 and 2.
Just one more jab before we get out of here.
To quote the great my cousin Vinny, everything this man just said is bullshit.
I mean, I love that. Like, I mean, I could do an hour and a half on that as well. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Go and support Reviewing History. Go and check out Tell 'em Steve Dave. Listen out for Jimmy and Rupp. They're on there pretty regularly, especially their Patreon shows. Thank you for listening to my show. If you want to support me, head to Instagram. I was a teenage film snob, underscores between every single word. We have a website coming very soon. It's in its final stages. In fact, by now it might be out. Go and support the Pod Squad shows where I have my 2 regular co-hosts, Maddie and Nick. But that's going to do it for this week. Thank you all again. And as I say every week on the show, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.